There's a war going on, the books can't escape. Cold the morning steam, it's time to break, run for cover. That's gonna cover, that's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott, running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice or might play a parlay. It's the morning steam. What? Ramon Scott, sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money. You know how we do it.
All right, and a pleasant good morning to you coming from the sports betting capital of the world, Las Vegas. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to the Morning Steam Show for Friday, March 14th. We're getting ready for a big sports betting day, especially in college basketball. We've got big time conference tournament action today, semifinals and quarterfinals from our conferences. We'll look at many of the day games. We'll leave some of the games for tonight for Mikey on pre-gaming, but we'll cover a lot of college basketball here, and we'll still touch on NBA and NHL. It's going to be a long show for a Friday. Thank you for joining me here off our big night last night. Hopefully you were able to join us here on the Sports Money Network and over on Kick with razor sharp picks in conjunction with, as we had a little taste of the action last night in college basketball and more. What a night of results, some surprises and some things status quo, setting up some big matchups today for us to look at, and we'll preview those games, probably try to lead right up to that early action. We are less than 2 hours away from our first tip. 2.5 hours, I guess, from our first tip in the A10. We won't preview it necessarily. We'll save it maybe for the last minute, get a pick out there, and try to end the show right at that point. I don't think we have any chance of doing that, but we'll try. Thanks to everybody here joining me in the chat. I want to say hello to some folks and talk about the action from last night. Hopefully some winners. You guys had some winners last night, including the North Carolina Tar Heels. Great pick, you guys. Yesterday, I laid off and said, hey, let's let Team Steam make the call in the ACC quarterfinal, and you guys took North Carolina yesterday to drub Wake. And let's see who's here and who's saying hi to get us started. It was Nuke. He was opening the doors here this morning. Thank you, Nuke, for being here. Let me get positioned here a little bit. There we go. We don't have any action to look at necessarily today on the scoreboard right now, but I'm watching a little golf here this morning. We're just getting rolling here through a couple of holes. JJ Spawn, a 2-stroke lead currently over Lucas Glover, and a bunch of folks actually at 6 under. We pulled the trigger on a few plays last night with Jeff M on the show. There's Irish King. Hello. Joe W. Thank you for all of your support, Joe. Here's my man Thomas Lewis helping us out in the chat with our consensus plays. Please like this video, subscribe, share, and like our channel, Sports Money, here on YouTube, fastest growing sports betting channel on YouTube. Why not, with programs like we had last night. Old E here said couldn't get, yeah, I was a little bit with Old E. I really could have used a few more winners for sure yesterday. Not great for sure. I guess everyone's kind of sharing with me. So Thomas not liking it. Mr. Tomatoes is here. He's ready to roll today. Nick Handy as well. Robert McCormick is here. Want to say hello to Tiffany McRae in the chat joining us. Thank you for being here, Tiffany. We'll talk about NBA towards the end of the show. I'm not going to leave it alone, certainly. We'll try to preview them all, except for maybe one that doesn't really look that great. Joe T here. He's got Wisconsin today in the first half in that Big Ten action. Good morning to Wine Time today. Thank you for stopping by. Action Jackson is here as well. Trevor Davis here. Nuke is wondering if Duke has anything left in him after the big story yesterday regarding Cooper Flagg, likely to miss time here in the ACC tournament. Hope he can be serviceable here. He's a sprained ankle, right? I don't even know if we know the full severity of it. I would imagine. I mean, come on, we've all sprained an ankle before, and I don't know. We're not. Well, some of us aren't professional athletes. I know many of you out there have had your own athletic successes. And Justin is here. Sports money is money. Thank you to Justin. All right. You can get my plays today. I certainly hope to turn it around a little bit with my personal picks, my best bets, my premium picks, my sports money premium picks by going to winnable.com/Ramon. You can get my best plays for today over at Winnable. I do have an early, I've just uploaded it, finalized the card and sent it out. 8 plays for the early card today over at winnable.com for just a couple of bucks. You can get all my plays today for $4, get a full week of plays for $8, just a steady stream of plays to your phone, plays for days. And hopefully I pick it up today over at winnable.com. This is how you follow me. I can't spend all day with you, but all I do is sit here and watch the games, handicap the games, and I send out my best plays behind the paywall over at Winnable. Keep you updated and informed throughout the day on various sports. I'm awaiting results here from the Chinese basketball league right now. I've got a little package of plays that I sent out last night, and the games are just winding down here from China. But hey, when you're on tilt, you're looking for anywhere to go. But anyway, 8 plays over there for today in the early session, and then I'll have a night card as well. I'll have NBA, NHL, and maybe we can find a few other sports to sneak in there as well here on an action-packed Friday. But mostly it's about college basketball today. There's been a little bit of steam rolling through this morning. We'll wait and see what we get. One play that came in right before I came on the air was a steam move in the matchup between Wisconsin and UCLA. The steam came in on the under in that game at 142.5 down to 141.5. Steam to the under with Wisconsin and UCLA. I don't know about that one. All right, so check me out over at winnable.com/Ramon. And when you go over there, you'll see my page. There we go. All right. When you go over there, you'll see my entry here. Has my face on it. And let's see how. There we go. It looks like that. You can subscribe here using Apple Pay, Google Pay, and the like. And keeps me coming back here every day to see you guys. Use the promo code STEAM to save 20%. I'd probably come back here anyways, but this is how you support me here on the Sports Money Network. All right, say hello to a few more folks, talk a few more games here today. You guys are pretty down on Cooper there, right? Some talk about, hey, why send this guy out there? You're trying to win the national championship. I don't know, these young athletes today, they want to win it all before you go to the pros, if you know what I mean. So hopefully you can get back and Duke can stay alive, or not. You might look to go against them today in their matchup. I think the ACC, we certainly have those previews, I think, lined up, or at least one of them for today. We got to leave some action for Mikey tonight on the show, so we can't preview them all. There's still a lot of games today, but we will try our best to get through many of them. How about some of the action last night in college basketball? Saw some overtimes last night, saw some upsets, and we saw some strong teams advance for the action. Some of the best games included that Texas A&M game, a classic there, or not necessarily a classic with some of A&M's shooting woes there towards the end, but Texas gets the win in double overtime, 94-89. Texas gets the upset win over Texas A&M to advance. Today, we did have some winners in the SEC. I had Arkansas here on the show yesterday, and we had a couple of premium picks in the SEC with Mississippi State and Missouri game to go over, and we also had the Oklahoma Sooners in that great game against Kentucky, 85-84, setting up that Kentucky-Alabama showdown here. And also in the SEC, the Ole Miss game, we mentioned the winner on Arkansas. Ole Miss actually won the game 83-80. Big 10, Big 12 last night. BYU over Iowa State 96-92 in a wild one there. We did have the premium pick on the over. That Iowa State loss did cost our team Steam consensus a winner. We were on Iowa State last night, or yesterday morning anyway, afternoon. We went down with Iowa State, but we did have one winner here on the show yesterday on the Morning Steam show, I believe it was. I'm trying to, let's see here. Oh, premium pick winner, Iowa State and BYU over. Late night, it was Arizona 88 and Kansas 77 as Arizona rocked the Jayhawks and got the cover. Also, Texas Tech over Baylor in a exciting one as well, 76-74. Big East, Marquette over Xavier in the thriller there, 89-87 in the Big East game there yesterday. Xavier led that one by 14 in the second half. We were able to get home on some picks in the Big East here on with my sports money premiums. This steam is rolling in. We better get going here. Connecticut last night was our winner there over Villanova in the ACC. We'll see. Duke won the game 78-70. They did not cover. Remember, Tech led that game by 14 points early in that one, but it was still Duke able to come out on top. They did not get the cover, obviously. In that game yesterday, but great pick there yesterday in the ACC by you guys and the Team Steam consensus. Big 12 late, Illinois over Iowa 106-94. Fran McCaffrey, bye-bye. He got ejected from the game early. Big embarrassment really for McCaffrey. We did come through with a winner there in the Big Ten with the Oregon Ducks over Indiana in early action. Mountain West, my Aztecs did not look good. Hopefully they still get in the tournament. I think they will. It's going to be close, but man, they lost in the quarterfinals to Boise 62-52. So usually San Diego State is able to get a win in the conference tournament. They've won one game at least for 16 straight years, but they did not yesterday. We did have a good day in the Mountain West. Yesterday we had a premium pick winner with Nevada and Colorado State under, and also Utah over UNLV for a couple of premiums in the Mountain West. Big West late, if you missed it, Cal Poly continues to look impressive. 96-83 Cal Poly. Remember, they were just 1-38 in the last 2 years in the Big West. I really feel bad for my guy Kobe Sanders, a former Cal Poly player who transferred to Nevada. Nevada is out, and Cal Poly is still in. They'll play Cal Irvine in the semifinals on Friday night. All right, we did have some other winners out there for the action on Thursday, including some of the action in the American. We had a premium pick winner, South Florida and Wichita game to go under. Also in the MAAC yesterday, Premium pick winner here, Manhattan and Iona game to go under. I hope we got that run right. I can't even read my own writing here on some of these with all these games there yesterday. And one other premium pick winner in the SWAC. We had Alcorn and Bethune-Cookman game to go under. NBA winners, premium pick winners, found some winners yesterday with my only two picks in the NBA premiums. Washington and Detroit game to go over. We had the winner there, and we had Kings and Warriors game to go over. We also had a couple winners on the show with the Milwaukee Bucks over the Lakers. Lakers going to stumble home a little bit, and we had the Warriors late last night here on the show over the Kings. In hockey, we found some winners yesterday on the show, including the Ottawa Senators on the puck line, also Florida and Toronto game to go under. We also had the Rangers here on the show yesterday and the LA Kings on the show yesterday, but premium picks struggled yesterday in hockey. I'll just throw this sheet out. All right. Let's get going with the show and say hello to a few more folks, and we got to start our previews because we got a lot of college basketball here on Big Friday game day here. I want to say hello to Chosen One in the chat. Terrell is here as well. He's speculating on the injury with Cooper Flag. Hello to Terrell. There's Chosen One. Thank you for stopping by. Terrell says, do you think, this is a great question, right, Terrell? Do you think they could ever bring the Big Ten game to the West Coast? I would imagine that could be possible. Indianapolis is a pretty good home. They've done it there, obviously, I think a couple of times. Man, I want to talk about some of this steam. Let's go with it. James Farm, good morning. I think Bobby Mack's got 9 in a row now with the no goal in first 10 plays there. And Nate DeGreat, he's ready to go as well. Let me talk steam real quick. Get a few out as you like it and smash it and share it. Good morning. All right, some steam plays coming in right now. Let's get these movers, man. BYU and Houston. We're seeing some steam here to the under in the game between BYU and Houston. Always got to take note when you see these Houston games going under, right? Steam came in, that one at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, BYU and Houston. Steam to the under, it was 136.5. We're down to 135.5. It originally had gone up anyways, and now is kind of back down to the original number, the way I see it. All right, great call, Big O. Yeah, you'd think they'll come to Vegas. They all come to Vegas, don't they? Great call, Big O. Big O might be in the negotiations there. All right, more steam coming in right now. Big Ten, Illinois, and Maryland. Game total under here in this one with Illinois and Maryland tonight. Got to talk about that one. Ooh, here comes another one right behind it. But let me mark that one down. Illinois and Maryland quarterfinals. We're not going to get to them all today in the quarters. Leave some for Mikey, but that steam came in on the under with Illinois and Maryland. Current line right now in the game between Illinois and Maryland is 158. It was 159.5. Also, just seconds ago, right now, with actionable betting information, St. Joseph's and Dayton. Steam here to the under in the finale tonight in the Atlantic 10 quarterfinals. We're seeing some steam to the under. St. Joe's and Dayton, hard to find those teams going under very many games this season, it seems like, but still steam to the under here with St. Joe's and Dayton. It was 144. We're down to 143, 142.5. And this one here with St. Joe's and Dayton taking some steam here this morning.
Steam play.
Also, just seconds ago, you heard it in the background. We've got some steam in the Big East in the game between, hello, Marquette and St. John's in that big matchup tonight. Steam already came in overnight on St. John's, and that pushed the line from 4 up to, from 4 to 4.5 for the most part. It did tick 5, but I guess a little bit of buyback here. But this steam right now coming in is on the over at 141 between Marquette and St. John's. It's up to 142.5 here at a few spots right now. Steam to the over with Marquette and St. John's. You heard another one just seconds ago. Let's talk about it. Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and Cal Irvine. We just talked about Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and all those points that they scored. Right now, the steam is coming in on the under here with Cal Poly and UC Irvine tonight. This one at 11:30 Eastern and 8:30 Pacific time. Right now, that total went from 157 down here to 155.5. It originally had ticked up. Could be some head fakes out there. Now it's back to 155. You heard another one just seconds ago. The line is moving right this second in the game between George Washington and George Mason. Steam here to the over in that one between George Washington and George Mason. This one at 5 Eastern and 2 Pacific. The steam came in on the over. I don't know if I agree with that. Check out my premium picks today, but nonetheless, steam here from 128 up to 129. You'll get a better number if you're rolling with me. Steam to the over with George Washington and George Mason just moments ago. All right, also a few more that has come rolling in here. Make sure we get all these in, and then we'll roll. This is some of these games. This will be our coverage here with the big schedule today. And George Mason got steamed in their matchup against George Washington. Just mentioned the total a few seconds ago. Several minutes ago, as we were coming on the air, George Mason got steamed from minus 2.5 here today. And this one has gone up to George Mason, favored by 3.5 at some of the books right now. So a 1-point move on George Mason. And Jacksonville State was the first one anyway, at least with the show. Jacksonville State was 1.5, and they are up to 2.5 or so. I think we have that one maybe in the previews, but I know I have a premium pick out there in that game as well. But right now, Jacksonville State did take the steam. The steam also came in on the under in that game earlier this morning, and Middle Tennessee and Jacksonville State. Current line there is Jacksonville State 2.5, and the total is way down here from 139 down to 136 here. That's one of the biggest movers of the morning. Middle Tennessee and Jacksonville State under. All right. Talk a few more here right now, and Action Jackson, he's ready to go. Thank you for mentioning Action Jackson. Let me please talk about some of our other programming here before we go with our UFC coverage here this weekend from Las Vegas. We're at the Apex here for the UFC Fight Night. Vittori versus Dolidze 2. We've got previews ready to go here on the Sports Money Network. Get ready for the UFC action this weekend when you watch VB MMA Picks. VB and his guests go over some of the biggest fights on the card, including that main event. Vittori and Dolidze 2 on Saturday night. And also okay, yeah, here we go. Also, don't forget, First Strike has 4 previews out from the guys, from Fanatical Jim, from Jeff M, from Subhuman Gaucho, and from Mikey M, previewing UFC Fight Night. They previewed 4 fights as well. Busy weekend coming up. Thank you, Action Jackson, for mentioning that. Thomas is rolling with some plays here. Good morning to R. Tomps. He's got Maryland. He's got Jacksonville State, and he's got George Mason. And we've got one more steam move before we get going here. Right now in the ACC, we've got some steam coming in here in the game between Clemson and Louisville. This one is moving to the under right now in Clemson and Louisville. It was 142. We're down to 141 here with Clemson and Louisville. Steam to the under here this morning. All right. I think it's time to get rolling on the show here. We've basically got 2 hours to get as many games as we can here before that first tip-off of the morning. And great to watch basketball all day. We're going to have apparently some programming. I'm not quite sure of the schedule here, but the guys told me they're going live either here or there today. I didn't really get the gist of the programming here, but there will be some coverage today of the daytime action. Hopefully I can make that with the guys, but a lot of action here today. Okay, seconds ago, more steam. Utah State, Colorado State, Mountain West semifinal here, and we're seeing steam to the under in that game between Utah State and Colorado State. Tonight here in Vegas, the total was 148.5. We're down to 147.5 here with steam on the under with Utah State and Colorado State. All right. Here we go. Let's get going with our previews right now. We're going to go to college basketball first and start with the action there. We're going to skip that early game a little bit. We're kind of skipping some of the quarterfinals here. We've got plenty of games all weekend. Tomorrow and a little bit on Sunday. You know how it works. So let's start with the Big Ten and get to this one between Oregon and Michigan State here. You have Michigan State favored against the Ducks by 5.5 here. Let's get the current line, actually. Make sure we got it right, because pretty much a lot of sixes out there, maybe in a 6.5. So there has been a little bit of movement here on Michigan State today. I think they've been the better team. Cover-wise here, both teams come in pretty hot on winning streaks right now. Michigan State, they not only are they winning, they're covering pretty much everything right now over the last several games here as they make their debut in the tournament. Remember, they're getting a bye into this spot to face the Ducks here. And let me update that line. I'll call it 6 right now, but we do see a little bit of 6.5s out there this morning. The total here is 142. Definitely a tick down in this one. Oregon also comes in pretty hot here, red hot. And they did get that win, as we mentioned, over Indiana yesterday. They got the money, won by 13 as 2.5-point favorites here. For Michigan State, they're 8-1-1 against the spread in their last 10 games. A little bit of steam. I'm sure it'll settle down, but let's get these in as they come in. Utah State is getting steamed right now. There's a move on Utah State in that Mountain West game. We just mentioned the total getting steamed to the under. Now here's Utah State. It was a pick 'em. Utah State may end up going off a favorite here in this one as they take some steam here right now in their matchup late tonight here in Las Vegas. Basically the last game on the board at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific. And right now, Utah State's a 1.5-point favorite at Bet Online. Some books still have Colorado State the favorite, but it's moving right now. That's what we do here on the Morning Steam Show. Keep you abreast of these moves. Utah State taking that steam. Okay, continue on here with Oregon and Michigan State. Hey, both teams have been pretty solid covers all season, it feels like here. But like I said, Michigan State on a roll right now, cover-wise, 8-1-1 ATS over the last 10 games. Oregon's been good too. They covered and gone 7-3 against the spread in the last 10 games. They're 5-2 against the spread as an underdog. But there are plenty of numbers for Michigan State covering everything this year, including the win over the Ducks back on February the 8th, 86-74 in that one. It was Sparty getting the win and cover at home in that game. So let's go to the chat and take a look at what you have here with the matchup between Oregon and Michigan State today. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Let's go to the chat. Super True likes the under in this one. Here is Justin. He likes Oregon. Thomas went with Michigan State. See where this is heading already. Going to be all over the place here. Art Thompson's on Oregon. And Moneyline Mills, he is still out there. We might not fit into his schedule currently, but we do miss Moneyline Mills. But he's out there. I've seen him around, I believe. I think if anybody want to correct me there. Robert McCormick on Oregon. Terrell on Michigan State Moneyline. Here's Public Enemy on Michigan State. And Action Jackson also went with Michigan State here in this one. We'll give you guys one more second, and I'll make my call here in the matchup. Let me get one more steam play out here real quick, and I'll make my call, but got to keep on top of these. All right, here we go with Florida. Just took some steam right now in their game against Missouri. Florida started an 8-point favorite. This one is well on the move here with the Gators today against Missouri. Are they really going to win this one by double digits tonight? The steam is on the Florida Gators here in this one. Florida is right now moved to a 10-point favorite right now. Big steam on the Gators in that one. All right, a few more comments here. Robert says, yeah, it's a consensus, right? It's probably split right down the middle, huh? Nuke here, gonna take the Ducks, so maybe we want to roll the dice here in this one with these two teams, but I know where I'm headed in this one with Oregon. Oh, we got a few more here. Robert and Thomas says, "Dot. Do we have a consensus play? Not. All right. Oregon and Michigan State for me. Man, I should have used this one as a premium, but I wanted to make sure. And and with Michigan State on the move, give me the under in this one with Oregon and Michigan State. I mean, you got to look at Michigan State this season, 10-21 to the under this year, 2-8 to the under in their last 10, 9-15 to the under as a favorite. So I'm going to go with the under here in this one with Oregon and Michigan State. Twisted's going to lean to the Ducks, but he's got the under with me. I think he meant to put 143, but no problem. All right. And Oldie, good morning. Hello. Next up, we're going to, so I hope I'm kind of picking the games right. And so like here with Kennesaw, these are day games, so I'm going to be a little more day game centric, and then we'll see Mikey. Mikey will have a handful of games tonight, 3 or 4 games probably from the colleges. And if you want to get my evening plays, please consider subscribing. But I do want to kind of cover the daytime action specifically here today. And how about this matchup between Kennesaw State and Liberty? As we look at action here from Conference USA, these are semifinals, so they do get our attention here in this one. With Liberty, my pick to win the Conference USA pre-tournament. I'm on record with all of my picks who's going to win these conference tournaments, and Liberty was my choice here. They are a 7.5-point favorite. That steam came in overnight on the over here pretty much in this one with Kennesaw and Liberty. This goes at 12:30 Eastern and 9:30 Pacific. Current line 7.5 and 140 here for the most part. It feels like with that steam that came in on the over. And hey, I just have to, if I may, mention a little bit of action overnight. I said take the Beijing Ducks. I gave out 2 plays with my CBA overnight plays. I said take the Beijing Ducks and lay 18.5 points against the Ningbo Rockets. Well, it's a final. And the Beijing Ducks ended up winning that one 127-92. So, all right, I'll take that one here. I need all the wins I can get after last night. All right, Kennesaw State and Liberty here. You guys are already chiming in. I got another steam play here, real quick. Bethune-Cookman is taking some steam tonight. This one didn't quite make the previews here, with this one being the night game, the night SWAC semifinal. But Bethune-Cookman has taken the steam. They were a 4.5-point dog, but right now they are down to 3.5 here. It looks like Bethune-Cookman taking the steam here against Jackson State in the SWAC semifinal. All right. Here we go, though. Let's talk about this one between Kennesaw and Liberty. In this matchup, top seeded Liberty, make no mistake, and they've won 3 in a row coming into this one. They won their tournament game 81-60 over UTEP a couple of nights ago. They had a night off as Kennesaw played New Mexico State last night in their matchup, so they don't have the rest, but they did win and cover 80-77 Kennesaw over New Mexico State. Remember when New Mexico State was winning conference titles back in the old days of their old conference. A little tougher here in Conference USA, but Kennesaw got the win and the cover last night. Both teams are pretty solid against the spread this year for sure. Combined 38-20 against the spread. Kennesaw 12-6 against the spread as an underdog. Liberty 14-9 against the spread as a favorite. So 2 good spread teams here for sure. Let's see what you might have in this one with Kennesaw taking on Liberty. And we'll go to the chat right now. I see your plays starting to line up here for this matchup. Here we go. We're going to start it off with Liberty for Thomas. I think he's started off here. He's trying to get us started, for trying to find that consensus. Here is Liberty for Twisted. He leans to the over. Good morning to T-Moss here today. Also here, over for Robert McCormick. And he's also got Liberty in this one. I guess that is it for you guys. Maybe not as heavy as I thought. There we go. Trevor is on Liberty there. All right. Thank you for that. And for me, I'm going to end up on the under here in this matchup. I'm going to fade that steam. Give me the under here with Kennesaw and Liberty getting maybe the best price here right now at 140. So, yeah, it was that move here to the over, but I want to take the under in this one as my play with Kennesaw and Liberty. All right. See what else we have here. We're going to keep it moving. Mississippi and Auburn is next. So we're going in chronological order. We're kind of skipping around a little bit, but I think you can see the importance here. We'll only look at the day games in the major conferences, give Mikey some room to work tonight. But I've got to look at the matchup between Mississippi and Auburn here. Hey, could the injury to Cooper Flagg open the door for Janai Broom to swoop in and get the Player of the Year? I don't know if that's going to be a part of it here, but maybe we could see a little bit of shift in the Player of the Year odds here. Auburn does come into the tournament, as we know, with a couple of losses to A&M and to Alabama down the stretch here. Now, they did take the steam overnight. Right now, Auburn favored in this one by 12, and the total 155 for the most part. Let's update that line on the screen. So A big favorite here for Auburn, of course, but let's not sell Ole Miss short. They were able to get that win over Arkansas in the thriller there yesterday. Yeah, we did get the money. I think, hopefully, depending, you guys can let me know, but I mean, we gave out Arkansas here on the show yesterday. The move went on Mississippi. I took them when that move came in, so hopefully you guys got there if you were on with me. Ole Miss in the game against Arkansas. Now, Auburn is 15-12 against the spread as a favorite. Ole Miss has struggled to the number here late for sure, going just 2-8. 2-8 against the spread, against the number down the stretch. Now, uh, both teams are pretty strong overs so far this season. In fact, both teams are 8-2 to the over in their last 10 games. Auburn is 17-11 to the over as a favorite, and Ole Miss is 9-4 to the over as an underdog.
Final.
8 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams have gone over, including both regular season matchups. Auburn won at home 106-76 in a blowout, and they also won by 10 at Ole Miss, laying 6 points. So Auburn had the better of it, getting the money here. Let's see what you guys have in this one with Ole Miss and Auburn. Double digits here makes it a little bit tough, but let's see what you got in the chat with Thomas. He's going to start it off here for us, and he's going to take Auburn actually in the game and lay those big points with the Tigers. Justin says he does like the over in this game, and look, it just keeps going up a little bit, it feels like here, but again, if you look at these two teams, big time Auburn, especially 20-11 to the over this season. Okay, Twisted says here, 12 points. I want to get on Ole Miss, but still, he does not feel totally confident right now in that one. With, Auburn here, primed here. Art Thompson's on the over. Terrell says Auburn wakes it up and gets it going with a blowout. Okay.
Steam play.
I'll get to the pick in just a moment. Here comes some NBA steam real quick. If we could pass this one along, keep you abreast of the moves right now. Steam just came in on the Rockets and the Mavericks game. Mavericks at Rockets, I should say, over. Steam to the over here. Rockets and Mavericks. It was 221.5. We're going to go all the way up here. This one is another one where it moved lower overnight on some widely reported steam there, but let me see here. I want to make sure I got this one right. I might have jumped the gun a little bit. Sorry, fam. Steam to the under here for sure from 224. Okay, I got it. From 224 all the way down to 221 here with the game between the Mavericks and the Rockets. From 224 down to 221, steam to the under. Also, seconds ago, from the MAC, Toledo and Akron here in the MAC. We're going to talk about this one. Steam just came in on the under with Toledo and Akron, a high number to begin with, but it's getting steam to the under. It was 166.5. We're going all the way down here to 164.5. Toledo and Akron, big move to the under this morning on the Morning Steam Show. All right. Thomas says Ole Miss has a good team. All these SEC teams are good, man, aren't they? James Parham is on the over. Nasty Nate likes the Celtics in the second quarter here in this one. All right. Thanks for all that you do, Nasty Nate, for me there in the chat, holding it together. Appreciate you very much. Okay, Robert here is on the over. Hey, NYC Bar is here today, and he likes Auburn here. Thomas is on Akron in that other game. Okay, I guess I got to make my call here in the matchup between Florida and Mississippi and Auburn here. I'm gonna check real quick. I'm probably not gonna flip, but I already have a premium pick on the total in this game. So you want to check me out over there at winnable.com to get my winner here in this one. And I'm going to say it's a little bit too high for me right now. And I'm going to take the Ole Miss Rebels here plus the points against Auburn today. Respect that steam coming in. And I also do respect the fact that some of these double-digit numbers in the SEC, they do kind of get there, but I'm going to try with Ole Miss today. Next up is the game. Definitely going to look at this day semifinal here between Grambling and Alabama State. Grambling, of course, a bit of a surprise here. Remember, they upset Southern to get things rolling here in the tournament. They come in as the 8th seed in this one with a 12-21 record. Now, don't be thrown off too much by. I mean, even though they did have a kind of a subpar season, but they came up with that big win over Southern in the tournament. 2 wins so far in the tournament. They had to beat Alabama A&M just to get to that game, but they've won and covered them both here right now for Grambling. Going up here against an Alabama State team that has played just 1 game in the tournament so far, but Alabama State does come in here pretty hot. They've won 4 straight and covered 4 straight, including the win over Texas Southern last night, 84-79. They were a 1-point dog in that game, so they're in here, the 5 seed in this one. So let's see what you have. Just to note, I think for me in the SWAC, I kind of maybe stay with what we've seen in the past with these conferences. I don't know if it totally worked out yesterday for me here, but did have some winners in these conferences. So the SWAC has just been a kind of a chalk fest in the past couple of years. Over the last 8 years, chalk really comes through big time in this tournament. Right now, Alabama State favored in this one by 2.5 for the most part everywhere right now. Now, here's another key statistic for the SWAC. SWAC semifinals over the last 9 years are 72% against the spread, 16-3 straight up. So semifinal, those are in the semifinals only here. Favorites in the SWAC, 13-5 straight up over the last 9 years. So there we go, 18 games. 9 years, 13-5 semifinal favorites usually get the money here in the SWAC. All right, go ahead. I don't know if I surprised you guys a little bit with this one. I'm trying to bounce around a little bit, but go ahead and give me your play here if you'd like in the SWAC. And we're not covering the other one, but the Bethune-Cookman Steam is probably our full report on the game. There was a little bit of a move on Grambling, but I'm going to side with the trends here in this one, and I've got to take Alabama State. Figure they'll win and cover here. In this one, like I said, you got 2 teams that are a little bit of a surprise, so I'll say the jig is up for the Tigers, and we've got Twisted on Alabama State. All right, that's it from you guys in this one. And let's go to some action where I think we'll get some opinions from you for sure with Wisconsin and UCLA. Doesn't that sound good? With our other Big Ten quarterfinal. This is it for the Big Ten today. We'll leave some for the night shift. But here we go with Wisconsin and UCLA. We'd mentioned that widely reported steam that came in on the under. I don't know if I'm totally into it here, but currently the line is Wisconsin by 1.5, 141. 141.5 here right now, I think, is the total in this one between Wisconsin and UCLA. You got UCLA coming in here off of the win over SC to get in or to end the regular season. They won and covered each of their last two games. Of course, Wisconsin had to play yesterday. UCLA has the bye. Wisconsin beat Northwestern 70-63. They did not cover here. In fact, they failed to cover in each of their last two games coming in, but still, Wisconsin was pretty terrific against the spread this season. 19-12 overall, 13-9 against the spread as a favorite. Looks like they will go off probably as the favorite here. UCLA also a pretty good spread team. 18-12 against the spread this season, 7-2-1 against the spread in their last 10 games. Let's go to the chat here, maybe with these two, Wisconsin and UCLA. Big Ten action this afternoon from Indianapolis. Here we go with. Let's see here. Thomas says, I think he's a flip, not sure, I think is what he's saying here. A Twisted likes UCLA, leading UCLA, but he does like the over here in this one. R. Tomps likes the over as well. And NYC Bar says, likes Wisconsin, but understands the fact that Wisconsin had to play yesterday and UCLA had the bye. It hasn't necessarily in the Big Ten. It's actually kind of I don't want to say, it's always tough, when you think about when the trend kind of ends up like, hey, the bye doesn't always work. I feel sometimes like you need a bigger sample here, but, maybe conference specific as well. The bye hasn't always been great in the Big Ten. Let's see here. Of late, the bye has been good, actually. Long term, not so good, but the last tournament, it was it was good. Okay, one quick steam play here, real quick. Bethune-Cookman and Jackson State. We just mentioned that game, but now the steam is coming in on the total in the game between Bethune-Cookman and Jackson State tonight. We mentioned it came in on Bethune-Cookman, but right now, steam is coming in on the under in that game. It was 144 down to 143 or 142.5 with Bethune-Cookman and Jackson State. Okay, Robert went with the under in this one with Wisconsin and UCLA. All right, I'm pretty much ready to go here in this one between Wisconsin and UCLA. I'm going to take the Badgers here. Give me Wisconsin to win this game over UCLA. I've got Purdue to win this tournament at home. This is kind of one of my longer shots. Again, they're playing in Indianapolis. I know that's not their home, but this conference is going to be crazy here the next couple of days. I've got Purdue to win the conference, but in this one, I'm going to take Wisconsin over the Bruins. All right. Next up, let's keep it rolling here. I've got more action. This one from Conference USA with Middle Tennessee and Jacksonville State, another semifinal. So I thought we'll take a peek here at this one with Middle taking on Jacksonville State. The Conference USA tournament is being played in Huntsville, Alabama, of all places. I think what they did was kind of went to a site that was accessible for everybody, because I don't think there's any of those home teams in that conference in Huntsville, Alabama, right? All right, let's talk about this one here with Middle taking on Jackson State. Middle Tennessee beat Louisiana Tech 77-75. They covered the spread for the most part in that game to kind of stay hot here. Really, middle's been scorching hot. Jacksonville State also a very, very good cover here this season. So two hot cover teams for Middle Tennessee, 17-11 against the spread this season, 9-4 against the spread as an underdog. Jacksonville State, 19-10 against the spread, and 8-5 against the spread as a favorite. So let's see what you have maybe here in this one with Middle Tennessee State taking on Jacksonville State in the other Conference USA semifinal. I've got my premium pick play in this one on the side here, so maybe I'll look to the total. That steam came rolling in on the under here, right? And you've got a Jacksonville State team that is a pretty hardcore under team for sure. They went 10-17 to the under this season, including 3-10 to the under as a favorite. Couple of moves just came in here right now. UAB and East Carolina. East Carolina and UAB steam to the under here in this one. With East Carolina and the UAB tonight in the American. It's the late game, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. It was 152.5, but now we're looking at 151 here. East Carolina and UAB steam to the under just moments ago. Okay, I've got to make my call here now with Middle Tennessee and Jayville State. Go to the chat, though, as well and see if we got some moves here from you guys. Jacksonville State here for Thomas. Also, Twisted likes Jacksonville State on the money line. There's Wine Time. He liked the Bruins back in that game. We're going heads up, Wine Time and I. Uh-oh. Here's NYC VAR liking the under. Thomas liked UAB in that other game. So did NYC VAR. Here's Robert on the under here with Middle Tennessee and Jacksonville State. All right, I've got to go under here with these two. Pretty hardcore Jacksonville State to the under right now. They did go under in their game a couple of nights ago against Florida International. It was only 65-56. They did get the money in that one in an under, so give me the under as well. All right, Irish Kings ready to get rid of the college here. And Irish King, we'll not go with the college every day at the beginning of the show, but probably here for the next couple of weeks anyway on most of the shows. Thank you, my brother. There we go. All right, keep it going here right now. I've got plenty of more college action coming up. How about this one, huh? Texas and Tennessee. Let me pass along one steam play here real quick. Line is moving right now in the Mountain West with Boise State against New Mexico. Boise was a 2.5-point dog, but right now the steam's coming in on Boise State here at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, and right now it's down to a 1.5-point favorite for New Mexico. That was probably the original line, so we're seeing some moves one way and then coming back to the norm, it feels like, at this point. All right, let's talk about this one here, though, with Texas and Tennessee in the SEC. What a game last night, wasn't it, with Texas? Boy, was that exciting there as Texas got that win to advance here to take on the Vols, the fourth-seeded Vols. Texas technically 13th seeded in this big tournament, but Tennessee gets the bye here into this spot. They're still favored here by 10 points today, and the total here is at 135 for the most part. For Texas, they've had to play 2 games so far back to back. That could be a big issue for you for them. Both games did go over. They beat A&M last night 94-89 as a 5.5-point dog. They also beat Vanderbilt, remember. Hey, we had Texas in that game against Vanderbilt, but I had A&M last night for sure. So let's see what you have here in this one with A&M. I'm sorry, with Texas and Tennessee. Both teams have kind of struggled against the number here of late. Both teams are 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games overall. 6 of the last 8 meetings between the two teams have gone over, including the matchup this season back on January 11th. It was 74-70. Tennessee got the win. They were 5-point favorites on that night. Tennessee got the win, but Texas got the money. Texas is 7-5 against the spread as an underdog this season. They've gone over in 9 of their 12 games as an underdog, but Tennessee's gone under in 16 of their 28 games as a favorite. They were favored in all but 3 games this season. Tennessee's won 5 of the last 7 meetings between the two teams. Let's go to the chat and get your opinion here when Texas takes on Tennessee, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, SEC quarterfinal. And we go to the comments in the chat, see what you have here in this one. Thomas says Texas are surprising, but he's going to go with Tennessee. Maybe those, back-to-back games, Tennessee rested here. Tennessee is my pick to win the tournament. Obviously, that's a little bit of a longer shot here, the 4th seed, but I took Tennessee to win this tournament. It's being played in Nashville.
Steam playing.
More steam coming in. Let's see. Mr. Tomato says, don't mess with Texas. They're clicking. Thomas liked A&M last night. R. Thompson's on Tennessee here. NYC Bar likes Texas. Making it tough on Thomas here with the consensus, right? We're not finding anything here, it feels like. Robert's on the over here in this one. And Twisted said maybe the 10 points a little bit stiff there. Art Thompson's on the over here in this one as well. And Twisted says if I'm going to get involved, I'm going to be on the Vols. All right. Well, for me, I'm going to have to look to the total here in this one, and I've got this one under here with Texas and Tennessee. I think for me, it more pertains to what we see kind of in this tournament overall with some of the totals. So I ended up here on the under with Texas and Tennessee. We have seen some higher scores, but I think here with looking at these two, Tennessee 13 and 18 to the under this season. Tennessee's an under team. Texas is an over team. Texas has back-to-back games, and Tennessee, I think, should be able to dictate their pace here a little bit. Okay, I think that's it from you guys in the chat. We'll look to see if we can get something together here right now. But, hey, I got to look at least one semifinal. We'll leave the night one. Maybe Mikey will touch on it with Kent and Miami. But I want to look at this one here with Toledo and Akron. Akron is my pick to win the Mid-America Conference tournament. They have the number 1 seed. They played pretty awesome. They had just 1 loss all season in conference play, and they're on a winning streak, obviously, because of that right now. They won their opening tournament game last night over Bowling Green. 96-67. They blew out the Falcons. Akron crushed Bowling Green yesterday. Meanwhile, here, good job by Toledo in their victory over Ohio, 90-85. They were an underdog in that game and beat Ohio for the second straight time. Remember, they won their uh, season finale as well over Ohio, but still, Toledo just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games overall, but Toledo still 8-5 against the spread as an underdog this season. Both teams are solid over teams. We talked about that steam that came in on the under, pushing it here. I got that total a little stale on the screen right now. Akron is pretty much an 8, even an 8.5 point favorite, but this total is drastically lower here. 162.5 right now. That's a 4. When we talked about it a few minutes ago, it was 164, right? Now it's 162.5 here. This is a substantial move. Steam to the under for sure here in this one with Toledo and Akron, with two teams that, well, what can you say? Toledo 10-3 to the over as an underdog, and Akron was 14-10 to the over as a favorite. So let's see if that sways you one way or the other here. Big move. Now, granted, it was a high total, so maybe there's a little bit of that involved in the thought process here, but I don't think it's too much value here now. All of a sudden, I've got the over. I'm going over. I'm sorry, I got to go over in this one. I kind of was looking at the side, but I'm going to make this my play here on the show. I'm going over here. I don't know if I can go premium with it. Give me the over. Like I said, Toledo, pretty much a big time over, it felt like here, especially when they're overmatched. So the meeting in the regular season, they played twice. Toledo at home got the win 96-87, covering 4.5 points, and the meeting at Akron went for 163 points right on the number when Akron was at home. They did not cover. They won by 7. They were favored by 7.5, so pretty much landed on the number. I'm going over. I think the original number was better. Let's go to the chat, see if you have anything here. NYC Bar leaning towards the under. Justin had Tennessee there. He's got Toledo here in this one, plus those points. R. Tomps likes Toledo. Twisted likes Toledo, and Thomas says that's enough for him. He's got Toledo plastic points, number one consensus. I think it's what he said was in his phone, Toledo plus points, number one consensus. It came out plastic. So there, I said plus, not plastic, plus. We know what you meant, Thomas. I think I have more fun with Thomas's voice recognition statements. Don't think that Thomas is sitting on his porch handicapping with the show on and being crazy. He's just talking into his phone. Maybe he is a little bit crazy like me. All right. Thanks, Thomas. We've got a consensus finally, and it's the Toledo and Akron game. Good thing we went and took off the MAC as our there we go, though. Toledo consensus. I'll take the total here. But you guys are on Toledo plus the points. Could still be an Akron. Like I said, I've got Akron to win this tournament. So, all right. Twisted said, what about that early game? Hey, stick around, Twisted. I'm just saving that one for right at the last minute. At least I am. You might get someone to help Twisted out there with an opinion. All right, how about we get into this one here with Iona and Quinnipiac as we move along here on the show and go to the MAAC. Got to at least take a look at the first semifinal, the way I see it here with Iona and Quinnipiac. I'll leave the last game here to Mikey, or I'll have an opinion later, but I'm going to look at least one semifinal in the MAAC today. Won't do them both, but Quinnipiac is my pick to win the MAAC tournament on the record before the tournament began. The number one seed here, Quinnipiac, over Iona. Iona's the hotter team coming in. They've won 4 straight, including their tournament win over Manhattan last night, 77-65, as 2-point favorite in that one, as Iona got the win. They've covered 3 out of the last 4 games as well. That was one. Let me see there. Okay, I think I had the under there as a premium pick. Yeah, that's the one I can't. I have impeccable penmanship, you guys, believe me, but for some reason I really scribbled on that game yesterday. Okay, for Quinnipiac here, they did get the money in their tournament opener over Ryder, 78 to 64. Yeah, they covered 8.5 here in that one. Now, Iona has been the better cover team for sure this season. In fact, Iona comes in 10-3 against the spread as an underdog. Quinnipiac has failed to cover in 7 of their last 10 games overall. So maybe on the surface, Iona is actually playing a little bit better than Quinnipiac right now. But Quinnipiac has won 5 of the last 6 meetings between the two teams, covering 4 of those 6 games. 6 of the last 9 meetings between the two teams have gone under. That widely reported steam did come in. As we mentioned on Quinnipiac, right now Quinnipiac is a 4.5-point favorite, and this total has moved drastically to the under. We talked about that steam. In fact, I guess let me take a look at something here. I want to be perfectly, they always say transparent or whatever, but I did send this one out as a play at 144.5. Well, it's only down to 143.5, but it was as high as 147.5. Like I said, I sent it out. So for what it is worth, I guess here, let's take a look and go to your comments in the chat in this one with Iona and Quinnipiac. All right, Quinnipiac for Thomas, NYC Bar on Quinnipiac. Justin like VCU in that other game there. Thank you, Justin. All right. And Thomas on VCU. You guys are talking on that VCU game back there. Sorry I left you guys behind there a little bit. Oh, you guys were soliciting the opinions. Thank you guys for filling that void. Thank you there. Also, here we're back to it a little bit. Robert Quinnipiac. And that might be it for you guys here in this one. A little bit of steam came in the hockey a moment ago on the Colorado Avalanche. Want to mention this one real quick. Here with Colorado, they're going to be up to probably 225 here right now, taking that steam against Calgary today. Colorado taking the steam in the NHL, big favorite here, and they're taking it. Also, Nashville took the steam in their matchup against Anaheim. They were $1.30, but now they're up to $1.40 or more here. Nashville took some steam. Also, Utah Hockey Club took some steam in their matchup against Seattle. They were $1.35, and now they're up to $1.45 or more here with Utah. Some NHL steam that came in while I was talking basketball here. All right, Iona and Quinnipiac here. Like I said, I've already got a play out there on the total in this game as a premium. Pretty much just gave it out, but I'm going to look at the side here in this one. 6 Eastern and 3 Pacific MAAC semifinal here for me. And, well, I've got to take Quinnipiac. I mean, I've got them to win this tournament. This is a reasonable number here. I know that Iona, there's no doubt they're the better spread team this season for sure. Quinnipiac just 8-13 against the spread as a favorite, but I'm taking Quinnipiac to win and cover here as my play. If I went with them to win the tournament, they probably should win this one by more than 4. I'll take Quinnipiac here over Iona. All right. Next up, Do want to take a look here. This is still afternoon action, so I'm going to cover this one. I want to talk all the conferences here a little bit. We'll leave the other game in this conference. These are semifinals. So Morgan taking on Norfolk here in this one. Norfolk favored by 11, and the total here 154 and a half. I call it 11 and a half, 154 and a half. How's that? There we go. As we got the MEAC semifinal game here. Pardon me. Norfolk is the number one seed in this tournament. My pick, pardon me. My pick in the tournament is South Carolina State, but Norfolk is the number one seed. They come in here off back-to-back wins, including a tournament win over Eastern Shore 2 nights ago, 77-70. They did not cover double digits in that one as a 15.5-point favorite. Meanwhile, Morgan comes in off of that upset victory last night of Howard, 91-90 as a 3.5-point dog. Morgan got the money in that one. For these two, they've already met twice this season, and it was a split. Norfolk won at home 69-60. They did not cover 13.5. Meanwhile, Morgan was able to win at home 78-74 as a 9.5-point dog. So Morgan got the money in both cases here this season. Morgan 13-7 against the spread as an underdog, but Norfolk was 11-8 against the spread as a favorite. Norfolk was also a good spread team this season, going 19-10 overall. What you see in these conferences is the better teams. They may have not only covered in conference, but usually the better teams, by the time you end up looking at it, they covered in all those games. Remember when a lot of these teams played much better teams during the regular season, they were getting a bushel full of points. They ended up getting the money in those games, and it reflects in their spread record, certainly coming in. These teams are combined 35-21 record against the spread this season. So, okay, for Morgan here, they are 14-6 to the over as an underdog. However, Norfolk 9-10 to the under as a favorite. All right. Semifinal action at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific in the MEAC between Morgan State and Norfolk. Get your opinion here on this one. I know what I'm doing here. It kind of bucks the trend a little bit from what I've been talking about in the MEAC, but I'm going to end up on the over here at 154.5. I know I said that, you're seeing a lot of these MEAC games long term just too high, but I'm still going to go with the over here in this one with Morgan State and Norfolk. They only split those games yesterday after I talked up that trend a little bit. So Roberts on Morgan. Norfolk to win but will not cover, says Twisted. Maybe he will lean towards Morgan. And Tiffany McRae likes Baltimore. Trying to think of a Baltimore here. Baltimore Orioles. Okay, Tiffany, thank you. It's got to be the Baltimore Orioles. I can't think of any other Baltimores playing, but the Orioles don't play today either. All right. Thanks, Tiff. I'll try to find a Baltimore. Maybe you can help me out there. All right. Oh, well, here we go. Marquette and St. John's. Big East action here at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. We're talking Big East semifinal action here for sure today with these two. In this big one with St. John's favored. St. John's is my pick to win the top seed, of course, with 4 losses this season, but they still got to keep winning here if they want to get a top seed in the NCAA, one of the top seeds in the NCAA tournament. St. John's been on a roll, of course, coming in. They haven't covered them all. They're starting to lay some big numbers, but here they won and covered against Butler, laying 12.5, 78 to 57. They beat Butler last night. Marquette, meanwhile, did outlast Xavier, 89 to 87 in that thriller. They did not cover the spread. They were favored by 2.5. Actually, Marquette has failed to cover in 3 straight games. Coming into this one, the two teams did meet twice this season. St. John's won and covered both at home, 70 to 64, laying 2.5, and they also covered on the road, 86-84 as a 4.5-point dog against Marquette. So let's go to the chat here and see what you've got. Marquette just 1-5 against the spread as an underdog this season, 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. St. John's, meanwhile, 19-12 against the spread this season. As popular as they are, they got the money quite a bit. Let's go to the chat here. The steam was on St. John's. The steam was on the over. Let's go to the chat and see here in the Big East today with, oh, thank you, Tiffany. You're right. Morgan State is in Baltimore. I should be better than that. Thank you. Okay. St. John's here for Twisted. And Thomas likes St. John's. I should know. I mean, I've got my Baltimore crew in here. They're probably laughing at me too. Okay, Justin says he's got Marquette. Robert likes the over here. Nasty Nate says St. John's is going to smash. Twisted liking Tulane there. All right. Well, I guess I got to make my call here in this one with St. John's and Marquette here. And, like I said, I like St. John's to win this tournament. If they're going to win this tournament, they got to win this game. Can they win and cover? I feel awkward if I took Marquette, kind of. I don't know if I necessarily even prefer Marquette. I prefer St. John's. But I'm just looking at the total here. Maybe I can pivot a little bit. Give me St. John's. I better just roll with St. John's. I'm on record liking them to win this conference tournament. So give me St. John's here. And right now the line on the Johnnies is man, it's already down to DraftKings 3.5 minus 120. All right, maybe some value here. I'll take St. John's in this one. All right, NYC Bar is on Marquette. Thomas liked Tulane in that game. Okay, here we go. All right. Two teams separated by 8 miles and 2 shades of blue. Going to meet tonight in Charlotte with North Carolina taking on Duke. Now, look, you might say neutral court. When I think of Charlotte, I'm thinking the Tar Heels are the home team in this one against Duke. Duke, we know their story right now, missing not only their superstar, remember, but there were, another injury in that game as well to one of their top players. Now, we did see the injury report kind of come in already, but Malik Brown, he's also out of this game for the Dukies. So he's out. Flag is listed as doubtful here, but make no mistake now, Carolina, getting these points, and Charlotte is a little bit more of a home crowd for the Tar Heels. I think that is agreed acceptable here. The line has moved here now to 7, maybe even 6.5 at some spots. There's definitely a move here to Carolina today. The total here is currently all the way down to 152.5 here in this one. Definitely a big move to the under here. We talked about the steam that kind of came in here on the under. For Duke here, they're winning and covering. They still got the money yesterday, remember, in the game against Georgia Tech. Didn't get the money at all. They were on a cover streak. They only won by 7 against Georgia Tech. Remember, the injury happened early, so it was a bit of a struggle, but it felt like Duke was in control the whole way. They were on a cover streak before that, is what it was. For Carolina. NBA steam here real quick. I just saw come in Pacers and 76ers steam to the under here right now. We're going to get to the NBA, but there's some steam to the under. Pacers and 76ers down to 232, down to 231 or so right now from 232. Steam to the under, Pacers and Sixers. Okay, so Duke here. Let's continue with this one. Carolina just 2-7 against the spread as an underdog this season. Not great. Carolina wasn't great against the spread at all, but they are 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games overall. Duke was 20-11 against the spread as a favorite. Here, look, it's baked into the line, so to speak. Both these teams pretty solid overs this season. Duke has gone over in 8 of their last 10 games overall. Coming into this one, they were 17-14 to the over as a favorite. But Carolina was 7-3 to the over in their last 10 games overall. 10 of the last 13 meetings between these two teams have gone over. Duke has covered 4 out of the last 6 meetings between the two teams. They met back on March the 8th. Duke won and covered 82-69 as a 9.5-point favorite. And they also won and covered at home by 17, covering 13.5. So Duke won and covered them both this season. Carolina comes in here with 2 wins and covers, obviously wins, but covered both games in the tournament. They beat up on Notre Dame. We had the heels in that one, and they were able to get the money yesterday against Wake in that game. You guys had Carolina yesterday. Let's go to the chat. Rolling with Carolina again today. All right, let's see what we've got in the chat. Robert, worried about these overs today here. Okay. Tar Heels here for Robert. And Twisted said, you know what? They might beat him twice, but without those 2 guys in there, could be a factor. He'll take the heels, and he might even take him on the money line here. Duke money line for Thomas. R. Thomas is on North Carolina. Twisted said, I think that total is within range here now. Oh, he thinks, well, here's the thing, Twisted. You say the total is getting too high, but this total has dropped 2.5 points from a high of 155 down here to 152.5. So the total is actually moving lower here. All right. And Robert said in that matchup back last week that Carolina did get a flag in foul trouble. Duke eventually ended up pulling away and getting that cover. Yep. Okay. All right. I think you guys have chimed in on this big game tonight between North Carolina and Duke. I can only go one way in this game, and I think this move is very, very serious to the under. I've got to take the under here in this one with North Carolina and Duke. Probably was going to be a premium, but I think I've missed out. So I appreciate there what Twisted was saying, but well, he said it's going high. I know I said said it's going higher. He's going to go under. I'm going on under before it gets too low. And Twisted said 148 right there. Oh, and look at this. Thomas says North Carolina actually ended up a consensus here. So we got 2. Thank you, Thomas. We're on the board for a consensus parlay. Okay. I'm not done. I've got 4 more games left here tonight. I'm looking at bigger games tonight. Here, semifinals for sure in the Big 12 with BYU and Houston. Now, Houston is my pick, this number 1 seed to win this conference. Both teams come in hot here on winning streaks. BYU's hot. They've been winning and covering. They covered in their game against Iowa State last night as a 2.5-point dog, getting that win. 96-92. BYU has covered 8 of the last 10 games overall. BYU 4-2 against the spread as an underdog this season for Houston here. They have not been a great cover necessarily. They have a 500 cover record. Maybe they were a little bit overvalued in a lot of games being as good as they are here, but BYU definitely an over team. Houston more of an under team. BYU 6-0 to the over as an underdog. The steam came in on the under here in this game. Houston is more the under team. They went 13-17 to the under as a favorite. BYU has lost 5 of the last 6 meetings to Houston. Houston has covered 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams. The teams met back on January 4th, and Houston won it 86-75 in a blowout. Let's go to the chat here in this one, and our Tops is on Houston money line here, and so is Thomas. All right. That might be it from you guys in this one here with BYU and Houston. Big 12 semifinal at 7 Eastern and 4 Pacific time here tonight. All right, I think. Here's Robert says BYU first half. He's trying to get off some of these overs here, maybe. Good morning to Jermaine in the chat today. Thank you, Jermaine, for coming. All right, for me, I'm going to end up on the over here with BYU and Houston. Like I said, BYU 6-0 to the over as an underdog. And, well, we know Houston games can be tricky on the total for sure. But, again, consider, their totals can be low. This one's 135.5. Maybe even 135 now. 6.5, 135 looks like the general consensus here, but I'm going to go over here with BYU and Houston. All right, next up, semifinal action in the Big East between Creighton taking on Connecticut. Creighton, the number 2 seed. Connecticut, the number 3 seed here. Oops, I had a little typo in the graphic there. There we go. I'm showing right now it is Connecticut favored by 4. The total 139.5 in this one. This one's on Fox. Connecticut comes in here on the long winning streak right now. They're also getting numbers every time. They've covered 4 straight. Creighton, meanwhile, they won but did not cover. It was a struggle to beat DePaul yesterday in overtime, right? DePaul got off to the lead. Creighton had to fight back just to find a way to get that game into overtime and eventually won the game by 4, but never were in any position to cover. Still, Creighton underdogs here. This is their best roll. They're 6-2 against the spread as an underdog. Connecticut just 11-14 against the spread as a favorite. These two teams met twice, and it was a split. The home team actually lost both times. Connecticut won at Creighton 70-66 as a 3.5-point dog. Meanwhile, Creighton won back in January at UConn 68-63 as a 7.5-point favorite. So they turned the tables a little bit there in those games. Also, for these two, you got a Connecticut team that has gone under in 7 of their last 10 games. Coming into this one, Creighton, meanwhile, was just 3-5 to the under as an underdog. Let's go to the chat. We're ready for your picks here in this one. 8 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Creighton has won 8 of the last 11 meetings between the two and gone 4-2 against the spread in the last 6 meetings overall. Let's go to the chat here in this one with Creighton and Connecticut and see what we got here with. And Justin said last time they met, it was 86 to, I think you guys talking about a different game. Yeah. Sorry about that. Let's see here. R. Thompson on Connecticut. Big O likes a Big East parlay with Connecticut and St. John's. Thomas likes Houston in that other game. Here's Robert with Creighton in this one. Okay, they're getting that money. They didn't look great in that game against DePaul. Give DePaul credit. I think DePaul did play pretty well right down the stretch a little bit, but getting all those conference covers there, if you know what I mean. All right. I'm going to make my call here, and I've got to go under in this one between Connecticut and Creighton. I'll take the under here. Way Juan, the Dark Knight Padilla is here today. Thank you, Juan. Good to see you. And he's got Creighton lay it with, he says Creighton lay the points. So a little bit of an alternate line there, or maybe just, I think he's on Creighton. Maybe he's going to reverse line. Maybe he meant take the points, but Connecticut is favored in the game. Okay, here we go. A couple more here right now. Got to look at this one between Clemson and Louisville. You got Louisville here and a slight underdog for sure. Here, Clemson favored by 1. The total has dropped dramatically in this one. Was an opener of as high as 142, but now we're looking at 140 and a half. That line that I have there is just a typo, I think. It was never 144 and a half. Sorry about that. But right now it is 140 and a half here. Still about a 1.5 or 2 point move to the under. So let me make that clear with this one. All right, so Clemson going to be a favorite here on the road in the matchup. You got, let's see here, steam that came in on the under as we reported, but it wasn't from 144, I don't think anyway. Nonetheless, you got two teams very, very hot here, both coming in on winning streaks here in this one. Clemson did not get the money, of course, in the win over SMU last night, 57-54. Won, but did not cover. SMU got the money. For Louisville, they didn't get the money either in their win against Stanford, just 75-73. Stanford was pulling off the shocker pretty much the entire way, but Louisville work their way back to get the money. These two teams did meet on January 7th. Louisville won and covered 74-64 at home. Louisville 5-2 as an underdog against the spread this season. Both teams were good spread teams. Clemson went 20-12 against the spread, 16-10 against the spread as a favorite. Louisville finished 19-13 against the spread overall. So let's see what you've got here in this one. Louisville has covered 5 straight meetings between the two teams, including that matchup that we mentioned. So Louisville was able, they haven't even been to the semifinals yet since joining the ACC, but kind of had Clemson's number for the last 6 meetings between the two teams. Have gone under here. Let's go to the chat for your picks in this one between Clemson, Louisville, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on ESPN. And what do we got? All right, here we go. Okay, Dark Knight said he's on Creighton here. Thomas says, I think that game is at the bottom of the hour. Let me make sure on that. Bottom of the hour, yep, on that Bonaventure Commonwealth game. So I'm going to get to a pick on it. I might just do it here at the end. Okay, Thomas is on Clemson. R. Thompson is on the over here in this one. Terrell says this is the best game on the board. You got a tightly contested game. He likes it over. Oh man, okay. Hey, hello to Textiles there. Robert likes the under here. He wants to take Louisville in this one. And all right. Man, I gotta make the call here. Well, I'm going with the under. I do like what Terrell's saying about a great game here, but I've got to go under with Clemson and Louisville. I'm taking the under here. All right, I've got one more and then maybe two more. We'll make a pick maybe on that early game right now after this. This is the last game that I'm looking at today. Again, for the rest of my night games, please consider picking up my package here today. I'll have more games, including those big conference games. I know we skipped Kentucky and Alabama, Missouri and Florida, both Mountain West semifinals, but we got to give Mikey some content to work with. And hey, I'm on a couple other shows out there too, so you'll hear more from me later today on some of those late games. If you want to check me out, you can find me. You know where to find me here on these various channels. If not, just look at my social media profile. You know how it works. All right, Arizona and Texas Tech, Big 12, the other semifinal here with Tech favored in this one by 2 right now. Maybe 2.5, 152.5. We can update it here with Texas Tech favored in this one, 152.5 right now. There you go. And take a look at some of the numbers here. Texas Tech on a winning streak right now. They've won 4 straight games. They did not cover in the win over Baylor yesterday, 76-74. Pretty good game, but Baylor got the money. Neither of these two teams are knocking them dead spread-wise, but Arizona did crush KU last night, 88-77, a convincing victory over the Jayhawks last night. These two teams met on February the 8th last time, and it was 82-73. Arizona got the money at home as a favorite by 4. Texas Tech won and covered at home back in January, 70-54, as a 4.5 point favorite in that one. Texas Tech has gone over in 15 of their 27 games as a favorite, but Arizona 2-5 to the under as an underdog. Let's see what you have here in this one. And I'll go to the chat with Arizona and Texas Tech. Here we go. Our Tomps is on Arizona here in this one. And let's see, is Thomas on Texas Tech? I don't know. Robert likes Texas Tech and the under here. Oh, you're just not throwing in an under there. All right, not much from you guys in this one, in the game between Arizona and Texas Tech, but I'm going under as well, Robert. Don't worry. I've got to take the under here. The steam came in on the under here, and I think if you look at these Big 12 games here. This one, anyway, I've got the under as my pick here on the show. All right. I think I had some stat on the Big 12 semifinals here a little bit. We already mentioned the Houston game. So, um, uh, Big 12 semifinal favorites are 15-5 over the last 10 years. Big 12 semifinal favorites 15-5 over the last 12 years. And also, this trend pertains to this game. Like I said, I'm on the under. Uh, Totals of 147 or higher in Big 12 tournament games over the last 10 years have gone 15-5 to the under, 5-15 to the under. 15 of 20 games of totals 147 or higher have gone under in the Big 12. Okay, that's it here for. Okay, I'm gonna take the graphic down and let me see if we can't just peek at the game here at the bottom of the hour. You guys are talking about it with Bonaventure and VCU just because it's our early start game and I didn't have it previewed necessarily because it is just a quarterfinal game, but it is our first game and we like to talk about that. So Bonaventure and VCU top of the board. I have VCU. They're the number one seed. VCU to win the A10 tournament. VCU did close the regular season with a loss. Here they do have the bye. They lost to Dayton 79-76 entering this one. So for Bonaventure here, they won and covered against Duquesne 64-59. They've won 3 straight games. Bonaventure 19-12 against the spread. Remember, they started so hot against the spread this season and then kind of cooled down a little bit for VCU. They went 19-11 against the spread, including 19-9 as a favorite this season. Bonaventure's covered 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams, but VCU won and covered the last one 75-61 at home. The meeting in December was Bonaventure winning at home as a 2.5-point dog in that one. So VCU basically has lost 4 out of the last 5 straight up and against the spread to Bonaventure. Okay, let's see here what you guys like in this one. And yeah, Big O says he thinks it was kind of a big collapse in the end for Bonaventure, the way they were going. I think they were kind of shooting the moon there, it felt like a little bit. What I'm going to do is in the first game, I got to take a double play. And I've got VCU here to rock in this one and cover. I've got VCU and the over in this one. Current line is up to 12 right now, you guys. So I don't know if I can do anything but put a little bet in here real quick, and I'll take it. I'll lay it. VCU and the over for me in this one. Let's go predicted final score in this one, shall we? I will go with 75 to 60. Let's see. I'm going to go 76-62 in this one. 76-62 predicted final score. That's what I'll do with VCU and Bonaventure. VCU in a blowout and an over. All right. Thomas is on VCU. All right. Thanks, you guys. That's it for college basketball. Enjoy all the games today. And I think we'll preview them all tomorrow by the time we get down there, right? Let's go to the NBA tonight where I've looked at all of them but one. Let's get started, shall we? We want to finish before the bottom of the hour if we can. We want to watch those games. Let's go. Indiana and Philadelphia. Widely reported steam did come in on the under in this one. It's currently 13.5 right now. The Pacers I don't think got steamed. I think it's just moving higher here with all the woes that the Sixers have in this one with their injuries. Maxi's out as well. I think that's a factor. We know Embiid is out, but other injuries as well for Philadelphia include Oubre, questionable. Grimes, questionable. Edwards, Drum, questionable. Lowry's out. Paul George out. Everybody's out here in this one. And will that be a factor? Indiana's failed to cover 3 of their last 4 games coming into this one, including a win over Milwaukee last time out. It was a push before that. Indiana had lost 3 straight games. For Philadelphia, that struggles big time here right now without their stars. Philadelphia is already, we know, terrible against the spread all season, but Indiana is not great either. But still, huge move here. Philadelphia 24-16 to the over as a dog. Indiana 17-21 to the under as a favorite. Indiana's gone under in 7 of their last 10 games coming into this one. So take a look here with Indiana and Philadelphia here in this one today. Can we just lay the points with Indiana? Is it safe out here, at least for a free play? It might have to be. I'm going to take Indy. I'm going to take Indy. Look, this thing opened as low as 9.5 yesterday, and I don't know if that was a widely available number. I couldn't get that number, but I'll take the Pacers to blow out the 76ers today. I'll kind of leave those trends behind, but I will say this: Indiana's already recorded a couple of blowout wins over Philadelphia, even though Philadelphia did have an earlier win. The last matchup at Indy was Indiana by 13. They covered 10.5, and they also won at Philly here 121-107 back in December. They were a 6.5 point dog in that game to show you where we've been with these guys this season. All right, here come a few plays here. Want to say hello to Billy Ho. Hey, Billy, you better get out there, and you can't be coming in right now. You got to go back out there and shoot your round, Billy Ho. Come on. Shoot your golf round. All right. Thomas says we got 2 plays for the contest out of the colleges. Here's Thomas on the Pacers on the money line. And he also likes the under here. Not much from you guys. Everybody's going to check out. We're down to 3 dozen already here from a high of 75, I think. So everyone's ready for just the college ball here, taking the day off here possibly from the NBA. But there we go with Robert here. I always whine about the stock market, and here we are up a couple grand today. I don't know if this will continue, but maybe we don't need to win today so much. Big O says Rory on fire here early, 5 under through the front 9 today. Hey, I've got Rory on my list here this week. I mean, he was my chalk play. For anyone that has my golf picks here today. The scores are going pretty low, though. Billy Ho here, not only in our chat, but has already shot 5 under through 10. So good job, Billy. Nasty Nate has the Celtics to smash in this one between Indiana and Philadelphia, or he's just getting the jump on the next game. Thanks, Nate. Thank you again for, I was thinking last night when you were cracking me up in the chat, and I thought about how the great job you do for me here. I don't take it for granted, and I don't take it lightly. You and Thomas doing the different jobs there for me in the chat. I have a feeling, Nate, you do a really good job at maybe I don't know if you do it too often, but you might police some of those comments where I don't need to be seeing them, right? Because I'll go on tilt. So thank you again if you do some of that work for me there. All right, give me the Pacers here in this one. Let's continue on here right now, and let's go to Nate's game with the Celtics and the Heat here in this one. The Celtics are coming off of a loss, but no problem. They were on
System playing.
a winning streak before that, and you know what it means. I mean, they lost, of course, to Oklahoma City, and well, if the Celtics are indeed excuse me. If the Celtics are indeed the most predictable team in the league, then this is their spot, right? Off of a home loss, they always win the next game. Off of a home loss. So, will they do that here in this one against the Heat, though, as a big road favorite? I mean, how many in a row now has it been? Boston has covered the spread in 10 straight games, or 10 straight road games when coming in off of a loss. This is the spot that you want the Boston Celtics. They've also won 5 straight times here in Miami. They've covered the spread in 5 straight games against the Miami Heat. The Boston Celtics are the most popular play among professional handicappers today. This total has dropped dramatically, actually. It is all the way down to 213.5, which is a little bit strange because the original move on this game came in on the over, but there's no doubt now it is clearly moving to the under here in this one. And that under is a pretty popular play with professional handicappers as well. So, what does that mean? Now, the spread hasn't moved, but we do know the Celtics have these injuries coming in, which does kind of put a little bit of a twist on whether or not they can still get the money here as a favorite on the road against this struggling Miami Heat team that has failed in 3 straight games and is on a pretty big losing streak here coming into this one. So we already know Nate did say the Celtics would smash here. Again, I think what you're going to have the issue for most, I would say, coming in is just the health of Boston coming in and whether or not their stars will make it to the lineup here today, with both guys being listed, Tatum and Brown, of course, as questionable. Not only that, White is questionable, KP is questionable, Big Al is probable. He can drain the 3 ball. We saw that bizarre game the other night with Boston taking all those 3-point shots. For Miami, Alec Burks is out of this game. Let's go to the chat and get your plays here between Boston and Miami here in this one. With well, thank you, Nate. Probably because of you taking care of those for me. And maybe people just don't like just maybe I won the troll battle. I don't know. I could never do that. Okay. A Boston team total over here for Thomas. Robert says, I got to take him now at least. Dark Knight says, oh, Thomas says already. Look at this. Consensus play on the, but money line. Okay. So I'm not too fret about that. I mean, Boston, what are they? -$4 on the money line. You guys can have them. I'm not going to be taking the money. Oh, they're 320, 325 or so. Boston money line, 300 at the Square Shop. So if that's the consensus play, that's fine. I'm not going to mess around too much with a big money line like that. You won't get that from me here on the Morning Steam Show. That's for sure. Here in this one, look, like I said, I want to be on this Heat team. Coming back a little bit here as far as the how did I characterize it? Now that Butler's gone and Coach can look. They were doing pretty fine there for a little bit. And now they've lost these last 3 games in a row to the Clippers, Charlotte, and Chicago, and all of a sudden they can't cover. They had covered 6 of the previous 7 before they went into this tailspin here a little bit. For Miami, they are 19-12 against 19-12 to the over at home, but the Celtics are 11-20 to the under on the road. And this one, like I said, a big dropper here for sure, down to 213.5. Okay, here come a few more comments here. Thank you, Thomas. Okay, guess that's it for you guys here in this one. Man, with you guys on that money line consensus, maybe that's throwing me for a little bit of a loop here. I'm going to have to take the under in this one with Boston and Miami. Just give me the under here.
Critical notice.
I kind of like Boston to roll. Maybe I'll be like everybody else and make sure I got to see them in the lineup and everything. I'm a situational handicapper. If those guys are out and the Celtics go down to like a 3-point favorite, I still might take them. That's the way I play the game. You guys probably know that. Everyone wants to wait for the lineups. Hey, I don't have that luxury here on the show, but a lot of times it doesn't change for me. What I like is trends, situations, head-to-head type of thing that doesn't always rely on the personnel. Personnel is always going to make the determining factor. But all right, Dark Knight says Heat to cover. I hope the Heat can get it going. Let's see what we got next with the Clippers taking on the Hawks here. Clippers are favored by 4.5 now in this
Critical
one, and the
notice.
total is 233.5. Clippers. Clippers are on the move here a little bit. Seems a little bit bizarre. Now, look, I was wrong in the last game. The Clippers did not get it done, or the Clippers did get it done here. Remember that even though the Clippers did win that last game impressively here against Miami on the road, they were struggling on the road. They had 11 straight failures on the road covering the spread, but they did beat Miami last time out. I was trying to go on Miami, in that game, but still, Clippers taking the action here. Clippers have covered or won 4 of their last 5, covering 3 of those. They were able to beat the Hawks in the first meeting 131 to
Critical
105, laying 7 points at home. Clippers got the money there. Atlanta, though, 23-18 against the spread as an underdog here. So maybe this is still a good spot for Atlanta. I mean, the Clippers, that was I was just kind of rolling with the fact that the Clippers hadn't been able to cover any spreads on the road, period. They had struggled mightily right now. That was their first cover on the road in 12 games. So I'm probably apt to still move away from that here. Now there is some worry here with Norm Powell. He is out of this game. Trae Young is probable for the Hawks. Clint Capella is questionable today. So let's go to the chat maybe a little bit here. Atlanta 23-18 to the over as an underdog. 21-12 to the over at home.
Critical notice.
Let's see what you have in this one. Atlanta's won 5 of their last 6 as well, coming in 4-game winning streak. All right, Thomas, he's on the Atlanta Hawks. All right, and let's see here. He also likes the under in this one. You guys, I've got to mention this right now, real quick. I know you guys are getting all fired up for the game at the bottom of the hour here with St. Bonaventure and VCU, especially Thomas. But got 40 of you in here right now. Here comes the steam on the game between St. Bonaventure and VCU. Bottom of the hour. Take a look, you guys. This one is moving here higher right now, 132.5. We already said I'm on the over, and now the steam is coming in on the over with Bonaventure and VCU. Late steam here to the over. St. Bonaventure and VCU 133 right now at Bovada. You better get in if you like the over. It's moving higher here right now for sure. Now, the thing was, it originally had moved down and now is moving back up higher. I'm not saying that's a sign or anything like that. I'm just saying it's kind of moving back to the original number here a little bit. But nonetheless, late steam on the over here with Bonaventure and VCU. Okay, here we go. It is a sign, says Thomas. Okay, nobody making a pick here, though, in this one between the Clippers and the Hawks today, other than Thomas here. So maybe I'll get my play ready here in this one. And I've got to go under here in this one. I know the steam came in on the over. I don't trust the steam here in this
Steam
one.
play.
I've got to go under in this game with the Clippers and the Hawks as my play on the morning steam. All right, a little more steam coming in right now in college basketball in one of our big games today, one of our early games here, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. The steam is on the over in the game between Mississippi and Auburn. Man, this one's going much higher. It was 154, but now we are up to 156 in the game between Mississippi and Auburn. I'm showing even juice to the over here right now. I'm showing Stations Casino here near me at 156.5 right now. So steam to the over with Ole Miss
Final.
and Auburn right now. All right, we're going to keep going in the NBA. We're going to knock these games out and get to that basketball today. All right. Next up is the Mavs taking on the Rockets here. Rockets a double-digit favorite, 11.5 here right now, and the total in this one at 220.5 on that widely reported steam to the under. This one is tumbled here, 4 points from where we were last, or when I typed these in anyway, late last night as I was watching the action. A little bit of a move here on the Rockets up to 12. We know the Mavericks are broken here, no doubt. Not looking very good. Just got blown out by San Antonio, 126 to 116. It was revenge for San Antonio as they played some back-to-back games, but for Houston here, Houston's back to being on a roll, right? Remember, no Fred, no Bet. Actually, it wasn't totally perfect because Fred came back and didn't look that great. But remember, he kind of re-injured himself and then had to come back again. But they got the money last time. And with Fred back, we're supposed to go with the Rockets every time. Now, you guys might have noticed I did skip the Hornets and the Spurs. I've kicked them out of the previews here a little bit, at least when they're playing each other. So we're already on this game. My apologies if anybody thinks that the Spurs still have a chance. I guess they don't. So, Rockets and Mavericks here. Let's see if you've got a play in this one tonight. Rockets are won and covered 4 straight games. Whatever you want to say about Fred, about the slump that they were in or whatever, we're back to getting the great Rockets here. They are 37-28 against the spread this season, 25-20 against the spread as a favorite. Dallas has failed to cover in 8 of their last 10 games overall here. So see if you have a play here in this one between Dallas and Houston tonight in Houston. And let's see what we got here with Robert took the Clippers back there. Thomas starts us off here. He's got the Rockets here in this one. And Robert's on the Rockets here as well. And that might be it from you folks in the chat. And, oh, man, I kind of want to use the Rockets as a premium, but not sure this dropping total. It's going to need a little bit more investigation. I kind of like the total as well, but give me the Rockets here. I'll just have to lay it at 12 now. I'll take Houston to roll Dallas tonight. Next up is the Cavaliers taking on the Grizzlies here in a pretty good game. Yeah, the Grizzlies have had some struggles, but I don't think we're ready to just be done with them at this point. They're still one of the best teams in the league, and they've won 4 straight games all of a sudden to get hot again here. The problem with the Grizzlies is they don't cover. So they're an underdog, though, here in this one. They've actually won 4 straight, but went 1-3 against the spread in those games. They were pretty big favorites against New Orleans and Utah and just couldn't get the money, and they only edged Phoenix by 2 as a 3-point favorite. Meanwhile, Cleveland is on this massive winning streak here right now. That's the other thing that has to be considered as you get a Cleveland team here, favored by it's up to 2.5 now at a few spots here for sure, and the total is at 245 pretty much. So great game here. The two teams have met in their other meeting. It was 129 to 123. Pretty much was a push on that day as Cleveland won by 6.
Critical notice.
They were mostly favored by the 6. And I know you guys are hearing the critical notice, and I always am going to tell you if it's a big deal. These are just some time changes on college baseball today a little bit. I think there's some weather adjustments going on out there. So Memphis struggling against the number, even though they're coming back to the successes. They're just 1-8-1 against the spread in their last 10 games. Cleveland, doesn't matter what the spread is. They pretty much roll. Memphis, I've said 1-8-1. Memphis is actually 1-11-1 against the spread in their last 13 games. Cleveland, of course, has famously won 15 in a row and 19 of their last 21 games coming in. Strangely, these two teams are 78 and 52 combined to the over. Memphis is 15 and 5 to the over as an underdog. Cleveland is 19 and 11 to the over on the road, but Cleveland's gone under in 4 of their last 5, and Memphis has gone under in 5 straight games. What are you guys going to do in this one with Cleveland and Memphis today in the game of the day? Juan likes the over. Thomas says Cleveland on the money line. All right. That sounds pretty good. Not much from you guys here. I think most people are ready for the college game today. Here is Robert ready to navigate his way to the under in this game. Like I said, you got 2 teams that are have some strong over tendencies. I will say this, though. Memphis, this is one that I always, Memphis is 22 and 10 to the over on the road, but 16 and 18 to the under at home. So I think that kind of indicates what type of situation, if you will, that you get with the Memphis Grizzlies, even though we might think of them, perceive them as an over. Like I said, as a dog, they definitely go over. So let's see what you've got here in this one. The first, like I said, that first meeting went well over. The total on that day was 247.5, and here we're looking at 245. Could we get that again? I don't know if we can. I've got to go under in this one with Cleveland and Memphis. I'm taking the under here in this one with Robert. Yeah. All right, we'll finish quickly here without much contributions from the chat all-stars. But, if you go to Grok, and the chat all-stars you guys have become quite famous. I'm not saying that I ask Grok questions about myself, or I might be doing a little research to see what Grok actually knows about the morning steam. If you go to Grok, or if you even know what that is, you type in the keywords. One of the descriptions on Grok says, and I'm not kidding, uh, it says, "Oh, Ramon Scott is a sports betting analyst on YouTube, and he has a credible audience." And it's all it said. Even it said, "quote unquote." Chat All Stars. Oops, I made the confetti go off. The Grok machine said, quote unquote, it included Chat All Stars in the description of. I think what I did was I said, I was trying to look at where Sports Money Network stood on Grok, and it said in there programs like The Morning Steam with Ramon Scott and the group called the Chat All Stars. I swear. I should have brought it up on screen so I could let you guys know you're famous. All right, Magic and Timberwolves. Here in this one, the Timberwolves are favored by 10.5 right now. And the total 207.5 here in this one with the Wolves here on a winning streak right now for sure. Wolves have won here now. Boy, how many is it in a row here? Um, 6 in a row right now. I'm gone 5-1 against the spread here in this one, but still, look at this line, man, all the way up to 10.5 against this Orlando team. Now, granted, they did play obviously in that game last night against New Orleans, but they won by 20. And we were on. Uh, uh, I gave out Orlando on another show, but it just felt like to me like this was the game that Orlando needed to kind of wake itself up a little bit. I think this line maybe has gone a little bit too high here right now. I know the Magic have been struggling for sure, just 2-6 straight up in their last 8 games, and 10-18 against the spread as an underdog. But remember, Minnesota's been a bad favorite. Just 12-19 against the spread at home, 20-29 against the spread as a favorite. Now they are hot currently for sure, but nonetheless, these two teams met January 9th, and Minnesota won by 15, covering 5.5 points. Let's go to the chat maybe here and see what you might have with Orlando on the road here at Minnesota. Orlando has covered 14 of the last 17 trips into Minneapolis, and they've also won 5 straight times here in Minnesota. And it's not like Minnesota wasn't good, right? They've been very consistent here. Yeah, they've had some personnel changes, but they've been the better team than Orlando. Orlando's been this growing, budding team, we know, of late only, but Orlando still had the best of this series. So Minnesota here has won 5 straight, or 6 straight, as I said, and covered 7 of the last 8 meetings at home here, but probably too high. Let's just make a determination here whether or not it's a premium play, or I can maybe pivot to the total here in this one. I kind of want to save it, but I don't know if I have enough on the total here just yet to be confident. Let's see what you have in the chat if you can help me on this one. Want to say hello to Trap God. Trap God, you were terrific last night. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, in the chat last night on the Kick Show. Thank you, Trap God. He's got a prop here in the game coming up. Great job, Trap God, yesterday. I'm pretty sure you were in there making some good comments. So thank you on the show yesterday. Also, another great chatter there from last night, Kiadra. Really appreciate you, Kiadra. I think you were over there last night with your great comment. Look at these emojis and everything cheering me up, and thank you to Kiadra. Great comments there last night. And look what she says here. I like Cleveland to cover and the Magic to cover. Great. Great comments here. Wow, Kiadra, that's all cool. Robert on the under. Thomas says Timberwolves here. Dark Knight says Orlando. here in this one. All right. Man, I'm going to take Orlando as my free play. Oh my gosh. I want to take Orlando as my premium, but I'm just not sure what I'm doing yet on the total. I do want to see a little bit more from the total here, especially now that we've seen this steam kind of come in on the under and we're down to 207.5 from 211 or so. Oh man, doesn't matter to me. I want to be right, whether it's on the free picks on the show, whether it's but I do want to put my best plays over there behind a paywall. Look, you guys are, I don't want to say fans of mine, followers maybe of me, of the sports betting influencer, but like I said, you read Grok. All right, give me Orlando. I'm taking Orlando. Couple more here and we're almost done. I've skipped the Raptors and the Jazz. Sorry, Nuke, if you're out there. I know he's not going to be losing any sleep over that, but Toronto, look, they're still on the cusp. Toronto may get some more calls when they're playing a competitive team, obviously, but we know the Jazz are toast. So let's move on to the Lakers and the Nuggets. Still a big game. We know there's, some changes here with this one with no LeBron here at this point. So we'll see where it stands. The Lakers feel like they just want to get home and stop the bleeding here a little bit on a 3-game losing streak. Denver hasn't been much better, really, here, losing 2 out of their last 3 games overall. Here, losses to Minnesota last time out, got blown out at home. I had the Wolves in that game. They also Denver did beat up on OKC in revenge for that 24-point loss and came back and beat them the next night. Remember, on the road, 140-27 as a 9.5-point dog, and we had Denver in that one too. So, see what you might do here in this one with Lakers and Denver. Denver's failed to cover in 7 of their last 10. Lakers still 15-11 as an underdog here, getting 2 touchdowns from the Nuggets. That might be enough here with the Lakers, but unfortunately, not only are the Lakers without LeBron here, but not sure about Jackson Hayes here. He's questionable. He might miss this one. Hachimura is still out. Jokic is on the injured list with an elbow. He is probable. Aaron Gordon, questionable. Jamal Murray, probable here. So feels like pretty much a healthy roster for Denver in this one. Now, the 2 teams have already played twice this season, and the road team won and covered both. Denver won at the Lakers by 25 in November as a 4-point dog, and the Lakers won at Denver by 23 points last month as a 6.5-point dog. All right. Hey, they're underway, and VCU's got a 3, and they lead 3-0 underway in the matchup there in the A10. All right, go to the chat here right now. Man, we're going to make good time here, it feels like, even though we're just about done with the NBA. We got Denver Nuggets for Thomas in this one. All right, that might be and Robert. I thank God for Robert and for Thomas here right now. Nobody else is doing much with us here in the chat. All stars losing all credibility. All right, I'm kidding. All right, let's see here. Okay, got one more here. Juan here says go under here. Kiadra says Denver at home. I think that means the old stupid dummy crazy effect there, playing without LeBron. And Kiadra says got to take Denver here against the Lakers tonight. Could the Lakers just be ready to cash in their chips on this road trip? It's been pretty dismal here, obviously, right now. But all right, I perceive it totally different. I know everyone's pounding the under here. It feels like at this point, what is it currently? 230, down from 232.5. But I see it the other way. I see it as an over game. I know that, without LeBron or whatever, but you saw that Luca, right? To me, this looks like you saw Luca get all those points. I was giving Spenny a hard time last night because Luca, to me, and I wasn't listening to the game. He was way more into the game than I was. He kind of was uh, dissing me a little bit with my comments there about I thought Luca was almost trying to do too much. He's a great analyst and said, no, Luke is not able to get the other guys involved, is the way he saw it. So maybe I stand corrected on that. But nonetheless, it looks to me like all the Lakers can do is try to keep up, and they have no answer defensively. It feels like, right? They ended up giving 126 points. Now, it fell right on the total there, just as their other game did against Brooklyn here. But I'm going to end up on the over in this game between the Lakers and the Nuggets. I think the Sharps are clearly on the under here. I'm supposed to follow them in situations like this, and I think I'm reading it differently. I think they're pounding the under here. Nobody wants to go over out of the Sharps right now. In fact, all the moves, the steam came in on the under. Uh, the pressure's on the under. So Thomas talking about Russ here. Kiadra sees it like I do. I think Kiadra sees it like I do tonight. And they don't need to score 144, but obviously they're expected to score almost 125. And I think they could probably score more than that. I think they can get to 130 ish tonight against the Lakers. The Lakers have no answer. There's no reason for the Lakers to step up a defensive effort here. Unlike the last couple of years, right, when the Lakers were fighting to get into even make the bubble, right? Remember, the Lakers are comfortable here. Yeah, you want to improve your position or whatever, but the Lakers are in the playoffs at this point. I don't think they're going to fall out of the top six unless LeBron can't come back or something. But I think they can salvage this still and stay in the top six here right now. Houston and Lakers are 3 games clear of teams like Golden State and Minnesota right now. So I've got the over here in this one. Okay, we got one more here. Pretty okay game for sure. The Kings and the Suns. Talk about teams on the playoff bubble or the play-in bubble. Phoenix is on the outside looking in. They need to start turning it up quickly, which they were doing. They were on a bit of a good streak, but now they've lost 2 in a row. The Kings have lost 3 in a row coming into this one for the Suns here. They're coming off of a loss to Houston. They were on a cover streak before that. That's good news for the Suns because they've had some struggles, certainly, at least to the number. Meanwhile, for the Kings, they come in here with a 3-game losing streak and fail to cover the spread as underdogs in both the last 2 games against Golden State and the Knicks. The Kings are just 8-12 against the spread as an underdog. Phoenix has no hope to go over the trends. They'll never turn these trends around this year, but at least they've covered 6 of their last 10 games overall. The Kings have also covered 7 of their last 10, so these teams have looked a little bit better here, covering wise anyway. Still, Phoenix 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 games, even though they've lost 7 of their last 10. Sacramento 1-4 straight up in their last 5, but 7-2 against the spread in their last 9. So you have 2 teams that they aren't winning, but look, if you're covering the spread, to me, you're playing better than expectations. Phoenix has failed to cover the spread in 10 of pardon me, 10 of the last 13 meetings between these 2 teams. The teams met back in November. They played 2 games in 4 nights, and the Kings won them both, covering the number. At home, they covered 8 in a 23-point win. And on the road, they covered 1 point, pardon me, in a 9-point win. So All right, a little bit tough in this one. Let's see what you've got before I die here. And let's see here with the Suns and the Kings. Let's see what you got. And Thomas here is on the Phoenix Suns. All right. And Keandra may be on Sacramento here in this one. All right. All right. Thomas, don't die before we hook up, I think is what he's saying. It's gotta hang out with me. We gotta hang out together sometime before we're done here. All right. Yep. For me, I'm going to end up here on the Phoenix Suns. I'll take them to win and cover tonight at home. Not going to read you the Suns trends or anything. That'd be scary. We know how bad they've been against the spread. 10-20 against the spread at home. 13-24 against the spread as a favorite. But
Play.
I'm going to take them here tonight against the Sacramento Kings. Okay, that's it for the NBA. We've got a few games on the ice. Let's look at them quickly here and get on out of here. Thank you, everybody, for joining me here today. It's hockey. We've got 6 games. We'll preview 5 of them. I think I kicked one to the curb here. The game I might have kicked 2 to the curb here, really. Let's see. Red Wings and
Play.
one hockey move coming in right now. We're going to preview in just a moment, but let me pass this along. There's steam to the over right this second. Edmonton and the Islanders. It was mostly a juiced up 6, but it's now 6.5 under. Steam here. Oilers and Islanders. Steam to the over. All right. Red Wings and Carolina here. Carolina's hot. Carolina heating up just the right time. Red Wings have struggled for sure, but they did get a win last time out, a much needed blowout win over Buffalo, 7-3 in that last game. Carolina, meanwhile, really clicking right now. Yeah, they had some close games, but they were all wins pretty much here of late. Carolina right now up to, oh man, look at this thing, 270 now here. Can you even stomach this one at this point? With the Hurricanes taking the action for sure. Let's not belittle it here. Definitely the steam came rolling in on Carolina. Carolina 26-7 at home. Detroit just 3-6-1 in their last 10, but did get that win last time out. The two teams have met just once this season. It was 10 days ago. Carolina won 2-1. Carolina has owned this series for sure. They've won 5 straight and 8 of the last 11 between the two. 10 of the last 12 meetings between the two teams have gone under, and these are, well, definitely some under teams. Detroit's gone 3-7 to the under in their last 10. They're 17-27 to the under as a dog, and 24-31. Carolina 24-31 to the under as a favorite. Let me see if we got the goalie computer ready to go here and get done with this show before the top of the hour, before all the games tip off. Thank you for being with me here. We got 40 of you still hanging out with me. Nothing confirmed just yet in this one with Kashetkov, and could be Cam Talbot. I've got Mrazek as the goalie that I'm targeting here in this one for today, but some of the sites are kind of, let me refresh a little bit. Some of the sites are touting that it will be Talbot in here today, but I'm kind of thinking that it could be Mrazek here. Maybe I just don't have the information yet. Maybe that's why that steam came in. And look, I like Carolina. They were probably going to be a puck line premium, and I rarely do that. But at this price now, this increased price, I'm going to take Carolina on the puck line here on the show. That's what I'm going to have to do. I'll take Carolina and lay this. You got to lay a little bit even here now on the puck line to take Carolina here in this one at -1.5 at -110, maybe a little bit cheaper here. A little bit. I've got Carolina. Oh, great comments from you guys are ready for hockey. Robert's on the Canes. He's also on the under, but Dark Knight Padilla says go over. Kiadrick says just Canes money line for her. Billy Ho is out there on the golf course punching in his plays. He's got Red Wings on the puck line. Put him in a parlay. Kiadra's ready for the next game, and Billy Ho. How's Billy Ho doing? I want to look at what's his score here now. He's 6 under through 13. Minwoo Lee has moved into first place now. He's gone 7 under today. They're tearing up the players' course today compared to yesterday. These scores are low, man. Minwoo Lee 7 under, Rory 6 under, Spawn 4 under, Bahisha is 4 under, Morikawa 5 under, Tommy Fleetwood also 4 under as well. Man, big scores here today. All right, that's going to do it for that one. Give me the Canes there. Thank you for whoever's tweeting me those nice messages. But you guys. All right. Oilers here. We just talked about it. We see some folks already chiming in here in this one with the Oilers taking on the Islanders here. And Oilers going to be favored. I lost with them there yesterday. I took them. Also, let's see. We did have the under there. I don't think I mentioned that in the monologue, but we did win with the under here in that game yesterday with Edmonton and the Islanders. So it wasn't all bad. Finished 3-2. The Islanders got that goal in the third period and ended up winning the game yesterday. But it did go under, and we had that on the show. So it wasn't awful. Here on the show. Hockey's been pretty hot for Edmonton, though. They can't. Every game is close. We know that the way it's been going with these guys. Islanders have covered 9 of their last 10 puck lines at home. Islanders have also beaten the Oilers in 13 of the last 16 meetings between the two teams. And you have an Oilers team here coming in off the back-to-back. Meanwhile, the Islanders are rested here 4 days right now. They last played on March 11th. They were on a 3-game road trip. Okay, we come back, first game from a road trip. But does anyone ever say, like, hey, I try to fade teams that are on their first game back from a road trip. What about teams that are on the first game back from a road trip and have a couple of days off to sit around and think about it 3 days before they play their next game? Look, the Islanders haven't been great either, and they've struggled a little bit scoring goals in that road trip against they beat San Jose 4-2, but could only manage 1 goal against the Kings and the Ducks. Edmonton still with some pretty good numbers. Obviously, here like I said, they were getting it together. They were starting to pick it up a little bit. This feels like a cheap number, but the Oilers lost yesterday. Can they really get it done here today at $1.35, 6 and I'm going to put the total has definitely gone up. This total's gone up almost a full goal. A full half a goal right now on that widely reported Steam. So let's see what you got here, Skinner. Some sites are listing Skinner. I'm trying to think, right? I guess I could look at it. I thought I had Picard in there because I thought Skinner was in there yesterday, right? Maybe I hope I'm getting that. I hope I'm getting that right yesterday. I might have to go look at the box score here real quick. Yeah, Skinner was in there yesterday. So I'm going to say Picard. Now, maybe they need to keep him in there, but I'm going with Picard in there in goal. today in this one. I think this total is getting out of control, man. I might even be using that one as a premium here now that it's 6.5. I got to try the Islanders here in this one. I'm going with the Isles right now. Look, at least the Islanders, yeah, they won a couple of games. They lost a couple of games. They're always, both teams are involved in one-goal games constantly. So, let's go to the chat here. Kiadra's on the Jets in the next one, staying ahead of the pace. Oh, there she is. Okay. Kiadra puck line there. Billy Ho says New York and Oilers under in a parlay piece. Robert's going with the Islanders with me. All right. Let's get this show over with here right now. I've got the Isles there. Here's the next one, the big game of the night between the Stars and the Jets in this one. Wow, great game, great matchup here, divisional matchup tonight with the Stars taking on the Jets here. And you've got the Jets in this one favored $1.35 here. Maybe a little bit of a tax here right now on these hot Jets. 24-5 at home, 38-12 as an underdog. They've been pretty outstanding here. Feels like the line's a little bit high, but I kind of want to trust the Jets. Possibly, we know the Stars are hot as well. They've won 5 of their last 6 and 13 of their last 14, but the Jets have won 14 of 18 and looking pretty strong here as well. Dallas, they are no longer an under team. It feels like this season having gone over in 8 of their last 10 games overall, but Winnipeg's still gone under in 7 of their last 9, and this is a total dead under series, 6 straight unders between the two teams here right now. And well, it is 5.5 after all, pretty much everywhere. It feels like we did just get news on this one with Connor Hellebuck will get the start. He is confirmed in goal here today. Go to the chat. Pardon me. Here in this one. All right. So we talk about the Dallas Stars and their string of overs right now. Just crazy to think about it, right? The Stars are 26-34 to the under this season, 6-2 to the over as an underdog. And not only that, they've gone over in 9 of their last 11 games. But this series is an under. This one is making it a little bit tough for me here to decipher what to do. But let's go to the chat and try to save me here as I'm kind of running out of steam, it feels like right now, if you know what I mean, in this one. All right. It feels like a tough price here, but I'm going to go with the under as my play here on the show. I like the under as a premium, but kind of like the side as a premium too, even though I think the Jets are a little bit too high of a price. I don't know if I can get off of them here at this point. So let me just, I'm going to roll here with, oops, technical problem here. There we go. Give me the under here, and this one's 5.5. Robert's on the Jets. Billy Ho did not know that his favorite Minnesota Winds was playing. I don't know what that is. Okay. And Kiadra likes the Jets as well. Did Billy go over on this game? Yeah, give me the under. I've got to go under here in this one. The first 2 meetings of the season, 4-1, Jets won at home, 3-1, Dallas won at home. I'm going to take the under here. All right. Couple more and we're out of here. Avalanche and Flames here in this one. Avalanche already got steamed. We mentioned it. They're up to 225 total, 5.5 over at minus $1.25. Colorado was hot until they lost that last game. They're still hot, but they lost at Minnesota 2-1 last time out. They were crushing teams left and right. Before that, still tough to go in and play a team like Minnesota. Could be tough to go in and play a team like Calgary too. Calgary 18-10 at home, but just 14-26 as an underdog. Colorado, obviously a huge price here on them. Whether or not it's a fair price, I don't know. To me, it looks a little bit high even for this situation because you got a Colorado team. They've dominated the series against Calgary, make no mistake. They've won 6 straight meetings between the two teams and 14 of the last 17 meetings overall. They met back in February. It was 4-2, Colorado winning here at Calgary, getting that money. But man, this feels just too high for me at 225 after that steam came in. I just feel like Calgary plus 1.5 minus $1.45 might be for me here in this one. Let's go to the chat and see what you have. They've dominated the series. I can't get away from that. Calgary 23-17 is a puck line dog. Colorado 23-31 is a puck line favorite here. But man, I got to think one goal game. Calgary's lost 5 of their last 7 games at home right now. They lost to Vancouver last time out 4-3. They beat Montreal 1-0 here. Give me the Flames plus 1.5 goals on the puck line minus $1.45. All right, here is Keandra maybe with me here, and Robert on the under here. I think it got to be probably looking for a premium there on the under. We'll see, but that does feel like the look that I'm probably going to end up going to here in this one. But I'm taking Calgary. Okay, one more. Apologies to Keandra here. Here it is, our handicap in the Nashville-Anaheim game. Quack. I've skipped the Nashville-Anaheim game. Hopefully that's going to be okay, Keandra. But look, did a million games here today, and I'm not necessarily going to rule out the Ducks just yet. And, by the way, the steam came in on Nashville in that game. So, all right, we'll just see there. Thank you, Thomas. There you go. Get those plays out there. Let's do one more before I can't go any further. My voice is done. We're done. Utah and Seattle late here with Utah, $1.30. And, they took the steam, actually, right? They're up to $1.45. We got to update that. $1.45, and the total here is 6 under 15 in this one with Vejmilka and Cord is what I'm listing here as the goalies here today. See what the sites have here in this one because I'm showing at, I think we're safe on this. With Utah here, $1.45 or so right now. Seattle in this one. Let's see here. For Utah, they come in off of a win over Anaheim, 3-2 last time out. That one was at home. Utah hitting the road here right now. These two teams did play back in December. Seattle won at home, 5-2. Utah is 16-12 on the road. Pretty good road team here. For Seattle, they are 34-30 to the over here this season. You look at this head-to-head series, and again, remember these are the Phoenix Coyotes. Seattle's won 6 of the last 8 meetings between the two teams coming into this one. And I'm just going to go to the chat right now and kind of get ready to wrap up the show. I've got the Utah Hockey Club as my pick here on the road. Give me Utah. This increased price today. I'll take the Utah Hockey Club. All right. Let's see what we got here. Billy Ho wants the under more so. Kiadra cracking money line going against me here, but we were in agreement on a lot of other games. Robert says over first period. The morning steam is over. I'm over. I'm not over it. I'll be back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific time. You can get more plays from me today. It's a huge day. We know that. So check me out over at winnable.com. I'll have my best plays over there at winnable.com/Ramon. You can get my plays for all the action, including plenty of games today. We're underway here, just about to tip off also in the Big Ten with Oregon and Michigan State, just about set to tip right now in that one. Man, I want to take the Ducks in that game so bad right now. I'm going to punch in a quick bet here. I didn't give it out there. Obviously gave out the over, but I'm going to put a quick bet here on the Ducks as this one gets ready to tip. The Ducks are getting 6 points. Let's go a little quarter play on that one and get rolling here. All right, check me out over at winnable.com. I got a lot of great plays over there. Subscribe for just $4 today, $8 for a week. Hey, my regular subscribers know when they grab a week of plays with me, I usually throw in a couple of extra days. If I have a bad day, I'll go put in some more days. If you get a month, I usually put like 5 more days on there. So please subscribe to my paid content here, my paywall plays, and I'll be able to communicate with you all day and get you another packages here of college basketball tonight. I got 10 plays up there right now for the early slate. So please consider supporting me here on the channel. We are user supported here on the Sports Money Network. All right, we're going to do the drawing here right now and get ready for see who's going to win the consensus parlay. Thank you to Thomas for getting it all together. We've got, like I said, we didn't have a lot of commenters here today, so I don't think we're going to have a huge drawing here necessarily. Type in something in the chat, but man, we really didn't have a lot of names in there today, it felt like. So we're getting ready here. Oh, it's going right now here real quick. Oh, God, you guys, Jake, who won? Jake, Dark Knight. Robert McCormick won. It's not rigged. Robert won there. I just screwed it up here. I've got myself all big. All right, Robert won. Good luck to Robert. I hope he wins. Thank you for all your support, by the way, all the time, Robert. Really appreciate you. Thank you to everyone here for joining me on the show. Don't forget, check us out here with our other programming. Not to mention, we also have, do want to mention here actually, our rugby coverage, NRL coverage. We have the video up from Dan and his analyst here with action. We saw last night the Warriors smash the Sea Eagles last night. If anybody saw that game there, the upset for sure. The Warriors against the Sea Eagles last night. So check out our NRL coverage here on the Sports Money Network, one of the few channels to offer such great coverage. Those guys, very professional show, great graphics, great analysis with Dan and his analyst there. So please check out the NRL coverage. We've got games all weekend long in NRL, and they've previewed the biggest games of the weekend. These games are on. I was watching it last night. It was on Fox Soccer Plus. I was watching the Warriors and the Sea Eagles last night from the Go Media Stadium, but they have the big games this week. The Panthers are taking on the Roosters in the game here, I believe, tonight. So I think that one is previewed with the guys. Just check it out underneath the videos tab. And we've also got our coverage of the UFC here as well over the next couple of nights. Tomorrow's Saturday, so I'll be here tomorrow, and we'll get ready for the coverage of UFC with our live companion stream as well for UFC Fight Night with Vittori and Dolidze too, but there's other MMA action this weekend as well. So check out, though, our coverage here with me and VB on VB MMA Picks. Here we preview the fights. And don't forget, First Strike also ran their coverage of the fights here for picks from the crew, including Subhuman Gaucho, Fanatical Jim, Mikey Money, and Jeff M. So check out that as part of our coverage of MMA here this weekend. All right, that's going to do it for the Morning Steam Show. Thank you, everybody, for a fun time. I made it here, and well, there won't be much more college basketball. Well, we got tournament action. We'll be going crazy next week too, but all right, Billy Ho took the Ducks. All right, Jake, nice to see you today. Kiadra, thanks for your contribution. You saved the show. Robert and Thomas were great, but you saved the show at the end with some of those picks as well. Thanks a lot, everybody. Hey, I think I'm going to have a little spring training card I think I've got ready here today as well. I've been enjoying the night here, watched that rugby action, great tennis today as well. I might be able to get a tennis card here. We've got awesome semifinals action here in Indian Wells today with Mira Andreeva. Could she pull this one off against Iga today? Right now, it looks like a collision course with Iga and Arina Sabalenka. Both ladies are favored today, but Madison Keys looked terrific last night in her win. And also on the men's side, Daniil Medvedev favored against Holger Rune, and Alcaraz against Hot Jack Draper. Good matches today at Indian Wells. I think we've ended up with the best here, even though I said it was wide open. These favorites have kind of worked their way to the top a little bit. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll catch you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Hope I didn't miss anything. Thanks a lot, everybody. Catch you tomorrow with more Morning Steam. For the Sports Money Network, I'm Ramon Scott.
That's gonna cash. Then we make the 100-yard dash to the window. I don't know what you thought. It's Ramon Scott running so hot. Sports make money and we make money with sports money every single day. NFL, NHL, NCAA. Stay away from the juice, we might play a parlay. It's the Morning Steam. What? Ramon Scott. Sports money. What? Wake your ass up and let's get to the money. Get to the money. You know how we do it.